At this point, let's also take a moment to pray for all past and present NSRI staff and their families, for protection and good health, and for the quick and full recovery of those who are sick, whether with COVID or other ailments. Thank you, everyone, and welcome once again to our celebration. To open the program, we have an environmental and food microbiologist who officially joined the NSRI family in 2018. She is a diplomate of the Philippine Academy of Microbiology and a University Researcher 3. Late last year, in December 2020, she was conferred Scientist 1 through the Scientific Career System established by the Civil Service and the Department of Science and Technology. To give the opening remarks this afternoon, I call on the current head of the NSRI Biological Research and Services Laboratory, Dr. Pierre Angeli Vital. Dr. Pai?
Thank you, Ms. Manya. Wala pang letter E sa dulo yung pangalan ko. Anyway, magandang hapon po sa lahat. Espesyal na pagbati sa ating mga panauhin, UP Diliman Chancellor Fidel Nemenzo, Dekano ng Kolehiyo ng Agham, Dean Gani Tapang, NSRI EC members, mga dating direktor ng institute, mga dating pinuno ng laboratorio at mga naging kasama at kasalukuyang kasama sa NSRI. Ako po ang naatasan ng NSRI Special Events Committee at lalo na daw ni Dr. Elmer Estacio na magbigay ng pambungad na pananalita. Noong ika-23 ng Marso 1983 na nabanggit na po kanina ni Ms. Manya, sa bisa ng Executive Order bilang 889 ng dating Pangulong Ferdinand E. Marcos, ang Natural Sciences Research Institute o NSRI ay inorganisa mula sa Natural Science Research Center or NSRC. Kaya naman sa araw na ito, ipinagdiriwang natin ang ika-38 taon ng NSRI na may temang NSRI at 38, noon at ngayon. Ang NSRI ang nagsilbi at nagsisilbing tahanan sa napakarami sa atin. Patunay po nito ang pag-attend nating lahat ngayong hapon at ang vision nito ay ang pagiging National Center of Excellence for the advancement, dissemination, and application of knowledge in biology, chemistry, environmental and atmospheric sciences at mathematics, at lahat ng disiplina sa ilalim ng Kolehiyo ng Agham. Parte ng misyon ng NSRI ang una, pananaliksik sa mga larangang nabanggit ko na kanina, at gayon din ang interdisciplinary research programs. Pangalawa, suportahan ang programa ng kolehiyo. Ikatlo, magbigay at maglingkod sa pamamagitan ng extension services, consultancies, training at technical support sa pampubliko at pribadong sektor. At huli at ikaapat, ipalaganap ang pananaliksik sa pamamagitan ng pagsulat, publication, conferences at iba pa. Kasalukuyan, meron pong 4 na research at technical services laboratory ang NSRI, ang Microbiological Research and Services Lab, Research and Analytical Services Lab, DNA Analysis Lab at ang Biological Research and Services Lab na tinutulungan ng administrative at property offices. Kung isasama po sa bilang ang ating kasalukuyang direktor, nagkaroon na ng 10 namumuno mula noong NSRC hanggang naging NSRI ang ating institute. Let me know po if right or wrong po ang aking information na nakalap. At ilan sa kanila ay kasama natin ngayong hapon. Nasisiguro kong na-miss na natin sila, kaya't madidinig muli natin sila mamaya. So salamat po mga ma'am at sir sa patuloy ninyong pagsuporta sa NSRI. Bukod po dito, para sa ngayong hapon, madidinig din po natin ang mga mensahe at inspirasyon mula sa namumuno sa ating universidad, ang pagbabahagi ng nakaraan at kasalukuyang kasama sa NSRI, inline po sa ating theme na noon at ngayon. So asahan po natin ang pagbabalik tanaw at matututunan din ang kasalukuyang sitwasyon sa NSRI. At syempre, panghuli ay madidinig na po natin ang ating kasalukuyang direktor na si Dr. Elmer Estacio. Sa kabila po ng ating pinagdadaanan ngayon at sa aktibo nating pagsaligin sa ngayong hapon, bangamat holiday na, Naway maging masaya, exciting, enlightening para sa mga young ones at syempre nostalgic naman para sa mga young at heart ang selebrasyon natin. Exciting po kanina yung mga pictures na ipinapakita nung umpisa. So kaya sa bisa po ng kapangyarihang ipinagkaloob sa akin ng kasalukuyang direktor na si Dr. Elmer Estacio, formal ko na pong binubuksan ang ating virtual na pagdiriwang ng ika-38 anibersaryo ng NSRI. Salamat po at balik po sa ating MC.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pai. Ngayon po, meron tayong mga panauhin na inaabangan. Pero meron na po mga dumating. Si Ma'am Carino, nandyan na. Si Dean, nandyan. Marami po tayong mga project leader at dating head ng lab na naandito rin po. Pinaalala po sa akin na meron po akong nakaligtaan na banggitin na kasamahan natin na pumanaw na. So if we can take a short moment now para ilagay sa ating alaala si Ma'am Belia Flor Gonzalez. Thank you so much, everyone. So, ngayon po, meron tayong mga EC members din. Ang EC po ay Executive Council. Sila po ang mga advisors ng NSRI to make sure po na yung NSRI ay nasa mabuting landas. At na-appreciate po ng NSRI ang suporta at feedback galing sa mga EC members. Mamaya po, babanggitin po natin kung sino ang mga nakadalo at kung sino ang nagbubuo sa ating EC. Sa ngayon, baka po magandang meron po tayong marinig na mensahe mula sa ating special guest na isa. Ito ay mensahe na manggagaling sa isang profesor ng UP Diliman College of Science, National Institute of Physics. Siya ay isang eksperto sa larangan ng sensors, optics, and signal processing at networks and information. Siya ay nagsilbi bilang CS Associate Dean for Research, Innovation, Development, and Enterprise at bago nun, bilang Associate Dean for Student, Alumni, and Public Affairs. Kinilala siya ni dating CS Dean Joey Balmaceda bilang isang taong may malasakit but firm and fair. At kung para kanino, ang science for the people ay passion and mission. Siya ay kilala bilang isang researcher at inventor at guro. At ikinatutuwa ng UP at ng DOST ang imbensyon ng grupo niya na tinatawag na VISER o Versatile Instrumental System for Science, Education, and Research. Ito ay cost-effective na device na nakakagawa ng, I think, mahigit 120 laboratory experiments na tumutugon sa kasalukuyang problema ng lack of equipment and laboratory space para sa mga mag-aaral sa Pilipinas. Scientificong Pilipino para sa Pilipinas. Kasama po natin para ipahayag ang kanyang mensahe ang kasalukuyang Dean ng College of Science, Dr. Giovanni A. Tapang. Dean Gani?
Maraming salamat sa inyo. Maraming salamat po. Congratulations to the NSRI sa kanyang 38th year. This 38 years salute is really a hats off to not only the institution in itself, but to the laboratories under the NSRI. Of course, our EC members, the staff, and the researchers making up the institute. Of course, my congratulations also extends to the previous directors in bringing NSRI to what is it right now. I see Dr. Carino, Dr. Ernie Cao, Dr. Windel Rivera. Sila po ang mga inabutan ko. And most especially, ito malaki ang aking utang kay Dr. Jonas Kilang, and of course, the present director, Dr. Elmer Estacio. Mas marami pang challenges sa kanya. I know it's not easy to celebrate things in the middle of a lockdown and a pandemic at that, but we always look at what is good and what can be learned in everything that we experience. I do have fond memories of the NSRI. My undergraduate advisor, Dr. Lorenzo Chan, used to have his faculty room on the first floor of the NSRI. And I used to visit him there every week nearly. And it is where I learned about my perturbation operators and started doing graph theory for my undergrad thesis. As I became a faculty, it was interesting to see how NSRI transformed and has grown. I know that some of your laboratories are also celebrating their milestones this year. If I'm not mistaken, DAL is having its 25th year this year as well. As part of the college, ever since the time of Dean Balmaceda as associate dean, I always yearned to have the researchers of each of the institutes work more closely with the NSRI. Not only as some of you are lecturers of their own right, some are our MS and PhD students of our faculty, but it is we all have to work within the college as one is part of the other. It is great that NSRI has its chemistry and biological laboratories up and running. We still have to address how to build up our capacity to do environmental science and material services as per your mandate. We really need to have a closer synergy from the start where NSRI and the CS Institutes do collaborative work and share resources and human talent as well. Na-discuss ko na po kay Dr. Elmer Estacio, Director Estacio, what strategic steps that we can take to make this a reality. We cannot really be doing science as insular islands, especially when scientific research is increasingly becoming multidisciplinary and multi-component. And exactly that is what NSRI is. NSRI should, well, rather must, leverage existing resources, people, hardware, both computational and experimental hardware, and funding with the faculty of the College of Science. The college resources are to be shared with you as far as practicable and vice versa. We shall look ways together to enable the things that you need so that we can truly be an interdisciplinary college. We need to figure out a way to protect researchers' rights and welfare. Together with the ADRIDE, Associate Dean for Research, Dr. Riquinelias, please join us in finding ways to make procurement a bit easier, document processing a little less tedious, and a host of other things to make your experience as a researcher, well, a bit better. We do these things while trying to build consensus on what rights and duties we have as researchers and investigators in the university, and write that down clearly for everyone to understand and follow. Of course, while reaching for excellence, wag din po natin kalimutan yung ating staff's welfare because they are our partners in our success. Marami pa po tayo pwedeng gawin sa loob ng mga laboratorio natin at sa labas kasama ang mga nasa loob ng kolehiyo ng Agham. Congratulations ulit for your 38th year. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay kayong lahat. Thank you.
Maraming salamat din, Dean Gani. Narinig namin yung mga payo nyo and yung vision ninyo for NSRI. Thank you so much. Konting trivia, nabanggit na ni Dean Gani kanina tsaka ni Dr. Pai, but NSRI long ago started out as a haven where faculty could concentrate on research away from the maddening crowds of the classrooms. NSRI would provide faculty some funds for MOOE, a research assistant, and house them in one of the many laboratory bays of the Institute. Most research assistants were dedicated to a specific project of a specific faculty. In-house researchers were largely tasked with assisting faculty and providing services for faculty and student research. The culture collection and the analytical services laboratory originally functioned with these in mind. Through the years, the Institute's in-house reps, or research, extension, and professional service staff would go on to conduct research, training, and services on their own, as well as in collaboration with faculty or other researchers. Eventually, the NSRI was reorganized and the 4 in-house laboratories were formalized: the Biological Research and Services Laboratory, or BRSL, the DNA Analysis Laboratory, or DAL, the Microbiological Research and Services Laboratory, or MRSL, and the Research and Analytical Services Laboratory, or RASL. We'll learn more about these different sections and in-house labs as we go along. Whether associated with the administration of the Institute or an in-house laboratory, or as an independent researcher, if you worked at NSRI, you were part of the NSRI family. Kitang-kita naman po ito sa diwa ng Balik Tanaw na pinalabas bago mag-umpisa ang ating programa. Isa sa mga importanteng bahagi at pagiging miyembro ng NSRI family ay ang pagpapasalamat at pagbibigay-pugay sa mga kawani na magriretiro na. Ito ay nagiging panahon ng kasiyahan at katuwaan, pag-alaala sa naging buhay ng kawani habang siya'y nasa NSRI at pagbati sa parating na bagong yugto sa kanyang buhay. Ang susunod na bahagi ng programa ay isang pagpupugay na sa dati nating kasamahan, researcher na ngayon ay retirado na, Miss Celia Sereno.
Finisher. This is the adjective that I give to my colleague, Celia Sereno, who retired last June 29, 2020. I cannot imagine the lab without this lady with whom I've spent more time than my own mother. She's definitely a great influence in my life, and I have many joyful memories of her. Fondly called Tita Cel, she's a wonderful worker and a beloved person. She is also a very conscientious worker. She reports to the laboratory early daily and goes to follow up on our microbiological services on Saturdays and Sundays. She is a licensed chemist, and she has extended herself to microorganisms and food science, which is her master's degree. Her organized tables and formats always make our work easier. Her organizational skills contributed to making our training courses enjoyable, as she planned delicious merienda. She's also thoughtful and considerate. Her personal touch made the lab what it is today. Who would not remember the salads that she makes and the many Bicol delicacies that we were able to taste? Being under her umbrella makes one feel secure and cared for. I can strongly say that she's one of the reasons why I stayed at NSRI. Aside, of course, from having to pay DOST, then NSTA, with the return service for a scholarship. These few sentences do not give justice to the service of Tita Cel, and I'm sure many of us would have stories of her. But knowing her, she would like to be in the shadows. So in this case, short and sweet is okay. This pandemic season did not allow us to thank her and say goodbye to her face to face as a lab and as an institute, but this will not stop us from saying a very big thank you to her. Thank you, Tita Cel, for you and for your service.
Yan po ay mensahe para kay Tita Cel, galing kay Ms. Vina Argayosa ng MRSL. Marami sa staff ng NSRI ay nag-uumpisa as non-UP contractual employees funded through services or other funding agencies. Pero yung services, ito ay offered by the in-house laboratories. Other staff are fortunate to start as UP contractual employees. And every now and then, may nakakapasok sa item na kaagad. Ang susunod na bahagi ng ating programa ay pangungunahan ng isang kawani ng NSRI na nag-umpisa bilang isang contractual staff ng RASL noong 1993. Naging permanent siya as a clerk noong 1994. Mapalad, 1 taon lang ang kanyang inantay. In 1998, she moved to the NSRI admin office as records officer. And by 2003, just 10 years after joining the NSRI family, she became the administrative officer of the institute, a position she holds today as AO5. Ang tinutukoy ko ay walang iba kundi si Miss Lea Fe P. Gabriel. Ate Lizelle, take the screen.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Sa maikling panahon na inilagi ni Dr. Jonas Kilang bilang Acting Director mula August 1, 2019 hanggang January 17, 2021, masasabi kong ito ay very fruitful kasi madami siyang nagawa. Una niyang ipinatupad ang mga UP memos on the constitution of several committees, kagaya ng NSRI Information and Data Privacy Committee para i-classify at i-safeguard ang confidential documents. Constitution of Reps NSRI Performance Evaluation Review Committee at Performance Management Team para sa administrative. Designation of sections representative to revisit NSRI Citizens Charter to tackle existing services for ease of doing business and efficient Government Service Delivery Act. Constitution of NSRI website, brochure and video committee para sa NSRI seminars. Higit sa lahat ay ang pagbuo ng reps, personnel, and faculty committee at ang pagtatalaga ng Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board para sa admin staff upang isaayos at ituloy ang filling up ng mga permanent items. Nagkaroon ng approval ang authority to fill para sa laboratory technician for BRSL. Ganun din ang administrative assistant 5 para sa administrative office at merit promotion sa qualified reps at administrative personnel. Sir Jonas continuously requested for additional research MOOE for 2020 and 2021, and these were all approved. He also saw the need for additional staff of property section and requested for non-UP contractual. This was approved at ngayon ay tumutulong na sa procurement needs ng NSRI. Through Sir Jonas' constant motivation, 2 reps were conferred scientist ranks by Civil Service Commission and DOST making it 5 now for NSRI. Personally, magaan siyang katrabaho. Approachable at hanga kami sa pagiging seryoso niya, pero may sense of humor pa din. Maalalahanin lalo na noong nag-start na ang pandemic. Lagi siyang may paalala. Higit sa lahat, Sir Jonas has a kind heart and keen eyes for the potential of each personnel at NSRI. Mula sa lahat ng administrative staff at sa iyong NSRI family, maraming salamat, Sir Jonas.
Thank you so much, Ate Lizelle. Mapalad po tayo at nandito ngayon si Sir Jonas. Sir Jonas, would you like to say a few words?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this recognition and pasasalamat, good words na narinig ko kanina. First and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Dean Giovanni Tapang, the current director, Dr. Elmer Estacio, some members of the NSRI Executive Council, and the former director, my mentor in IB, Dr. Virginia Carino, the former laboratory head, I saw Dr. Santiago in the list of participants a while ago. And of course, the current lab heads, Dr. Pierre Angeli Vital, Dr. Corazon de Ungria, Dr. Auxilia Siringan, Dr. Charita Kwan, and our AO, Lizelle Gabriel, and PMS head, Engineer Alvin Malyari, and also former and current NSRI reps and admin staff, and also guests ng former project leaders. Nakita ko si Dr. Lilian Unson din sa list ng participants. So magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. When I was appointed acting director by then Chancellor Michael Tan, through the recommendation of Dean Tapang in August of 2019, I thought I would be serving only for 1 month. Then it became 2 months, 3 months, and before I knew it, naka 1 year na pala ako. I can distinctly remember yung fateful day na tinawagan ako ni Dean Tapang in August of 2019. No? Kung pwede ba akong mag-serve as acting director. Hindi ako nagdalawang isip kasi malaki ang tulong ng NSRI sa akin nung nag-uumpisa pa lang ako sa aking mga projects nung bago pa lang akong PhD. Ang unang RA ko is galing sa NSRI at saka yung unang projects ko galing sa NSRI. So malaki ang utang na loob ko sa NSRI. No? Even when I was doing my master's and PhD, some of the work sa some courses, no? May mga ginagawa ako sa NSRI. So alam ko na malaking tulong ang NSRI, no? Hindi lang para sa mga graduate students ng College of Science sa labas din outside of the university. Also sa mga new faculty. Ngayon, so wala akong pagsisisi. No regrets at all. Itinatreasure ko yung 1 year na pagsiserve ko as acting director. Marami ako natutunan along the way. No? Now, through it all, I'm thankful for the support of Dean Tapang, Chancellor Stan and Nemenzo, the NSRI Executive Council members, and of course, the 4 NSRI lab heads, no? The AO, and the admin staff, Lizelle Gabriel, and of course, PMS head, Engineer Alvin Malyari, no? The reps and admin staff. So maraming salamat sa inyo lahat. No? Now, while waiting for the appointment of a director, we were able to keep NSRI afloat and running and navigate through the early months of the pandemic with only 1 confirmed positive case in 2020 among our staff and 0 COVID-19 transmission in our workplace. So we were able to survive 2020, and I hope and pray that we will survive 2021 and be able to see the end of this pandemic and get back to our normal life soon. Like also to take this opportunity to thank the immediate past director, Dr. Windel Rivera. Wala siya ngayon, but thank you, Dr. Rivera, for his 7 years of for your 7 years of service as NSRI director. We did not have the chance to hold a formal turnover with him because when I was the acting director, because he was on sabbatical leave at that time when I took over as acting director. Then when he reported back for work in August 2020, we were in the midst of the pandemic. Um, Thank you very much, Dr. Rivera, for your 7 years of service as NSRI director, and also the former directors, Dr. Cao, and nandito si Dr. Carino. I'd like also to for us to remember and honor Marites De Jesus, our admin staff, whom we have lost in August 2020. She had gone ahead of us, but we will keep her in our hearts and in our prayers. Again, thank you very much and happy 38th anniversary NSRI.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jonas. NSRI certainly appreciates all that you've done for us, taking us on kahit na OIC capacity. You really worked hard for the Institute, and we certainly appreciate that. Marami po kayong nabanggit dito sa mga panauhin na naandito ngayon. But we have not mentioned yung mga Executive Council members for this year. Sir Jonas, thank you so much once again. So, moving on, pasensya na. Medyo nawala ako sa sasabihin ko. But anyway, as I mentioned earlier, the Executive Council acts as a body which provides advice and direction for the Institute. And the members come from the various institutes of the College of Science, as has been mentioned earlier. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them and welcome those of the EC who are here right now. So the NSRI Director, Dr. Elmer Estacio, acts as the EC Chair, with Dean Tapang as CS Dean, acting as co-chair. Dr. Michael Velarde from the Institute of Biology is the IB representative to the EC. Dr. Alan Christopher Yago is the representative from the Institute of Chemistry. Dr. Maizoni Ligaray, I hope I pronounced your name correctly po, is the representative from IESM. Dr. Gino Angelo Velasco is from IM, and Dean Dasalas is from MSEP. We thank you all for your dedicated service to the welfare of the Institute. While many join the NSRI family as full-fledged faculty and researchers with fields of expertise and PhDs, because of the nature of the NSRI, many become part of the NSRI family as students or new graduates, nabanggit na rin po kanina. Some have stayed on at the NSRI and some have left and come back. And some have flown off to places near and far. Many have risen to become highly technical scientists and discoverers and innovators. Many are in positions of responsibility and have become heads of offices, laboratories, or research teams. Some are professors and advisors, directors and deans of well-known institutions. We have 5 researchers who were conferred as scientists of the scientific career system of the civil service in the OST, and even an academician of the National Academy of Science and Technology, and so much more. but all of them, near or far, keeping and bringing with them their memories of life at NSRI. Pakinggan po natin ang ilang alaala mula sa mga dati at kasalukuyang kawani ng Institute.
Mabuhay! Hello po sa inyong lahat. Gusto ko po kayong batiin ng Happy Anniversary NSRI. Ako po si Sarah. Nagsimula po ako dyan noong 1995 as a research assistant. I was 19 years old, fresh out of uni. Ang project ko at that time was to find potential antimicrobials sa natural resources natin sa bansa. NSRI kickstarted my career in science actually. I'm still in drug development, but now I'm focusing more on clinical research or clinical trials. More than anything else, ang naaalala ko sa NSRI ay yung samahan sa mga labs at as well as dun sa admin and property team. I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out dun sa lab na pinanggalingan ko, the micro lab, dating tawag doon culture collection lab under the leadership of Tita Oxy or Dr. Suringan. Hello po dun sa mga past and present members and even the honorary members of the micro lab, especially Tito Ernie. Salamat po sa lahat ng mga natutunan ko dyan. Hindi ko mararating kung anong narating ko ngayon sa science career ko kung hindi dahil sa inyo ang mga natutunan ko. Ang isa pang hindi ko makakalimutan sa NSRI is yung pagkain, especially yung fishballan dun sa kanto ng NSRI sa may tapat. Sana naranasan ko ulit kumain doon, sama-sama tayong lahat na maranasan yon. With that, I want to wish you all a happy anniversary. Sana ma-promote niyo pa ng gusto ang research and technology sa bansa at marami pa kayong ma-develop na scientists. I also wish you well during this pandemic and I hope you're all staying safe. And sana in the near future, magkasama-sama tayo at i-gather natin tong reunion face-to-face at i-celebrate natin tong anniversary. So, happy anniversary! Stay safe, take care!
Hello, this is Patty Laksamana. I am a clinical laboratory scientist at North Bay Medical Center here in Northern California. I worked as an RA from January 1995 to December 2001. So that is 7 years. I was under Dr. Gilda C. Rivero. Then later on, she collaborated with Dr. Flerida Carino. Our project was about cyanobacteria and microalgae. I am not sure if there was a spin-off after I left. Hindi ako sigurado. Anyway, fond memories ko sa NSRI, marami. I had fun working in that institution. In mid-90s, digital camera is a luxury back then. Hindi pa uso, ika nga. So, bumibili pa kami ng rolls ng film. We don't even have a high-resolution camera, kaya nakikisuyo kami with a fee sa DNA lab since sila lang yung merong high-resolution Nikon camera. So, shout out kay Miss Gavilyn Kalakal na hindi na nagpapabayad ng kanyang professional fee. Then, of course, yung mga boss, if they need to present somewhere else, high-tech na yun pag gumamit sila ng slide projector. So, paano namin ito ginagawa? Kinukunan ng picture yung monitor, then pinapa-develop. As far as I could remember, Ektachrome yung tawag sa film. Wala na ata yun ngayon. Then, of course, yung dreaded mid-year and year-end report na laging pinaglalamayan. Nakakahiya kasi kung hindi nasusunod yung schedule sa Gantt chart. So, andun yung overnight kasi some RAs are more productive sa nighttime. Sa daytime kasi ang dami pang utos ng mga boss. Kaya yung focus sa trabaho nagagawa during the nighttime. Shout out pala sa RASL kasi they were so generous to give distilled water for free. Pero pag triple distilled water, may bayad na yun kay Aling Jenny. Then of course, DNA Lab. Thank you sa Ultra Centrifuge na free of charge that time. We were able to stretch our budget nung mga panahon na yon. I am so grateful sa skills that I have learned in NSRI. It became a solid foundation for me working as a clinical laboratory scientist. Anyway, happy 38th anniversary.
Magandang hapon sa lahat. Leia Gabriel po, kilala bilang Lisel sa NSRI at more than 26 years as permanent employee ng UP. Nagsimula ako as SRF contractual employee noong November 10, 1993 sa RASL. Kinumbinsi ako noon ni na Ma'am Belen Bello at Ma'am Bel Gonzales na mag-apply sa permanent clerk item. Alam kong malayo ito sa kurso ko. Dati din akong medical representative at alam kong mahirap magtrabaho sa labas. I was a young mother then at alam kong mas safe kung sa loob ng campus lang ako mag-work, kaya umuo ako. November 10, 1994, naging permanent clerk 3 sa RSL with task of talking to clients, receiving and labeling their samples, preparing billing statements at saka yung mga training materials. After 4 years, naging records officer at lumipat na ako sa admin office. October 30, 2002, naging admin officer 3 and after 6 years, naging administrative officer 5 hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Noon, madaming papeles sa trabaho. At sa kasalukuyan ay mas dumami ito. Pero masayang magtrabaho sa NSRI. Marami kang kaibigan at nakita ko ang importance ng support staff para maging maayos ang isang opisina. Very challenging kasi buong NSRI ang pinagsisilbihan. Plus, CS project leaders at URAs din. Nagkaroon ako ng additional assignment din dati. Pollution Control Officer for more than 6 years. Kakaibang responsibilidad at experience din yon. At alam nyo bang minsan din akong gustong i-pirate ng dating supervising AO ng College of Science? Magre-retiro siya noon at pinag-a-apply niya ako. So, pinagbigyan ko siya. Pero, sumulat ako sa search committee para i-withdraw ang aking application. Iniisip ko, ba't ako lilipat? Mas satisfied naman ako sa trabaho ko at okay naman ang mga kasama ko. So, nagstay ako. Maraming masayang nakaraan at nakakatuwang gunitain. Kasi, dati may sports fest, may out-of-town activities at Christmas parties. Maraming free trainings at seminars na nahasa din tayo. Pero siguro dahil sa pandemic, wala muna. Nagbunga ng maganda ang desisyon ko magstay sa NSRI kasi nag-qualify ang 3 kong anak from kinder to college dito sa UP Diliman. Sabi nga ng mga kaibigan ko, ang swerte ko kasi para akong nanalo sa loto kahit hindi tumataya. Kasi maganda ang kalidad ng edukasyon at free tuition pa. Salamat sa lahat ng directors na humubog sa akin para magampanan ko ng tama at epektibo ang aking trabaho. Hindi man ito perfect, pero patuloy kong sisikapin upang maibigay ko din sa kasalukuyang direktor namin ang maayos na trabaho. Thank you, NSRI. Maraming salamat, UP. Muli, happy 30th anniversary, NSRI.
Magandang hapon sa lahat. Alvin Malyari po ng Property and Maintenance Sections. 23 years in service bilang permanent employee po ng university. Tanda ko noon, nagsimula ako bilang instrument technician sa RESL. That was February 1995. Tapos, na-permanent ako sa BRSL bilang Precision Instrument Technician sa ilalim po ni Dr. Rhea Samonte. Tapos after 1 year, nalipat ako sa property section. Maraming masasaya at saka kapanapanabik, saka nakakamiss na mga pangyayari at nangyari dito sa NSRI. Unang-una, isa sa mga hindi ko makakalimutan ay yung sports fest na nangyari dito sa NSRI. Nagsama-sama noon ang mga Yura, project leaders, mga researchers, admin staff para mabuo yung sports fest dito sa NSRI. Bihira mangyari na magsama-sama ang mga tao o empleyado ng NSRI. Isa pa, dito rin ako natutong maglaro ng table tennis. Actually, lumalaban kami sa College of Science na. Tapos, isa pa, dito ko rin natutunan kung paano maglaro ng bowling. Salamat kay Mang Paul. At siguro, yun ang mamimiss ko sa NSRI. Na sana, mangyari muli na mapagsama-sama ang mga empleyado ng NSRI. Kung naman siyang klase, Yura man siya, project leaders, o admin staff na magsama-sama uli sa isang event. Kukunin ko na rin yung pagkakataong to para pasalamatan ng NSRI 10 ng kanyang pamunuan dahil pinayagan nila akong mag-aral at nakatapos naman ako at pumasa sa board bilang isang electrical engineer. Maraming salamat po. Hindi ko to makakalimutan habang ako nabubuhay. Salamat NSRI.
Yes, I stayed here at NSRI after graduating from the Institute of Biology in 1987, a long time ago. And that was when I started. I think I started casual, research assistant, research associate, and finally, university researcher. I remember that we used to wash our own tubes, plates, answer the phone ourselves, and yes, even clean the rooms occasionally. For our training courses, we had to clear up the workspace and prepare 1 month in advance before each course. But now, microbiological research lab, one of the labs here at NSRI, has a separate training course room. And it is a great relief to shift from using glass pipettes to pipetors. And so the many dilutions we make are much easier. Rose, our laboratory secretary, keeps to her table by answering numerous phone calls. Then and now, the rooms became fuller as materials and supplies are sufficient, also due to the projects of Dr. Serenian. The team has been formed, doing the different tasks. The tubes kept increasing, the samples kept coming from many different directions, and I guess it's a good thing. Biosafety is now getting more attention compared to before. Thank you, MRSL, NSRI, and UP. Got married, had my children study on campus, then elementary and high school, and now in college. And I also live inside the campus. I hope the best is yet to come, but my youth and vigor were spent here among the people and university that I appreciate. I'm thankful to the Lord who has made these things possible. Happy anniversary, NSRI.
Hello po sa Natural Sciences Research Institute. Isang maligayang 38th anniversary. Matagal na po ang pinagdaanan ng NSRI at ako po ay natutuwa sa kanilang pinanggalingan at sa kanilang kinahantungan ngayon. Congratulations po sa lahat ng successes ninyo. Bilang isang researcher, naging bahagi din po ako ng NSRI, naging project leader din ng ilang beses at nabiyayaan din po ako ng NSRI. Nagkaroon po ako ng maraming mga research assistants na ngayon ay tinuturing ko na rin mga colleagues at mga kaibigan sa institute at sa labas. Tapos marami ring mga naging director niya na naging mentors at kaibigan ko rin. So nariyan po si Dr. Carino, Dr. Enriquez, si Dr. Cao, si Dr. Rivera, at ang huling na taga-Bayo din ay si congratulations po sa lahat ng successes ninyo. Bilang isang researcher, naging bahagi din po ako ng NSRI, naging project leader din ng ilang beses at nabiyayaan din po ako ng NSRI. Nagkaroon po ako ng maraming mga research assistants na ngayon ay tinuturing ko na rin mga colleagues at mga kaibigan sa institute at sa labas. Tapos marami ring mga naging director niya na naging mentors at kaibigan ko rin. So nariyan po si Dr. Carino, Dr. Enriquez, si Dr. Cao, si Dr. Rivera, at ang huling na taga-Bayo din ay si Dr. Jonas Kilang, isang pagpupugay po sa kanilang contribution. At ngayon naman po sa ilalim po ng bagong direktor, si Sir Elmer Estacio, ako po yung umaasa na malayo pa po ang mararating ng NSRI ngayon. So kung may kwento ko lang, ako po ay naging undergraduate thesis student na nagtrabaho sa NSRI sa ilalim ni Dr. Imelda Pagulayan. Hindi ko po alam kung may nakakaalala pa kay Ma'am Imelda. Siya po ay naka-station doon sa snail room kung saan naandun na yata yung molecular protozoology lab. So noong panahon na yon, kasabay ko po na kabatchmate ko po si Ma'am Erna Elias. So nung naging undergrad kami, siguro mga 7 years ago lang. So bago pa, sariwa pa sa aming mga isipan yon nung kami ay undergrad. So doon po kami nagtatrabaho noon, ako at mga ka-groupmates ko, ang mga thesis mates ko doon sa snail room. Halos gabi-gabi nag-overnight kami doon, nagda-dissect ng snails at nag-extract ng lectins. So lectins po ang pinag-aralan namin nung undergrad. So maraming salamat po sa NSRI kasi kung hindi po dahil sa kanila ay hindi po ako naging isang ganap na researcher ngayon. So muli isang malaking pagpupugay po sa NSRI and sana po ay marami pa kayong mararating sa susunod na taon. Congratulations po.
When I first heard about the NSRI 38th founding anniversary, I quite expected that I will be giving this talk. Kasi nga daw I'm the oldest one in the lab, but not quite the oldest looking. I hope agree naman kayo. So in terms of length of service, I am one of the persons who first started out as a research associate at the DNA analysis laboratory. Looking 25 years back, down the memory lane on how our laboratory started out to the time we are right now. Before DNA Analysis Laboratory, it was formerly known as the Genetic Engineering Laboratory, and this is how the lab looked before. I remembered it being a plant cell culture lab, which helps of plant tissue culture in mayonnaise bottles. Dr. Saturnina Halos and Nancy Go started their pioneering work in molecular biology on cloning of cellulose genes, restriction mapping of plasmids, and the development of simplified methods of examining gene products. From genetic engineering, we became the DNA Analysis Laboratory. And why change the name? In May 16, 1996, a MOA was signed between the University of the Philippines and the Presidential Anti-Crime Commission, or PACC, represented by then Vice President Joseph Estrada. It was Dr. Nina Halos' goal to establish a DNA analysis laboratory focusing on forensic applications of the DNA technology. And this was driven by the Eileen Sarmenta and Alan Gomez of UP Los Baños rape slay case. The photo shown here is in Malacanang when the MOA was signed. Establishment of the DNA lab was initiated by passionate and hardworking scientists with a vision. Dr. Halos, Dr. Carino, and the director of NSRI then, the late Dr. Elmal Yaguno. With the MOA signed, construction of the laboratory commenced with a modest budget from PACC. Basic equipment were installed and construction completed in December 1997. And this year, we are celebrating the DNA Analysis Laboratory's 25th founding anniversary. Our laboratory is a pioneer research and training facility for forensic DNA typing technology and Filipino genetics research. Likewise, we are doing forensic DNA analysis to resolve civil and criminal cases, as requested by the courts, other agencies, and private individuals since 1997. Since nasa throwback mode na tayo, let me share my humble beginnings in NSRI. I was a research associate at the DNA lab in March 1997, a young recruit from MRSL, where I started research in microbiology under my mentors Ate Vina, Tita Sel, Tita Sonia, and Tita Oxy. That is where I learned the ropes in research and discovered my passion for science. Thank you very much, MRSL, for the love, the food, and the memorable experiences. Then, I was offered a permanent RA position by Dr. Halos, who has just started the laboratory. Way before the CSI TV series, forensic DNA typing is completely a new field of research in the country. And to cut the long story short, I was enticed to join the team specializing in this field of research. With a handful of research associates, the labs was constructed in the wing where Dr. PI's and Dr. Matias labs were, also formerly the ping-pong area of Mang Paul and Playmates. I hope natatandaan nyo pa. The walls separating the rooms were torn down for construction. Being a novice in molecular biology, I started my training on basic DNA techniques, use of new equipment, together with other personnel from NBI and the DNA lab. Our mandate is to build the national capability to conduct forensic DNA typing in the country. We do this through our research work and extension services. For our research work, we have validated procedures for handling and extracting DNA from various biological samples, tested different genetic marker systems, and DNA analysis procedures. We have likewise generated a Philippine database of different regional and ethno-linguistic population groups using different genetic markers. This is needed to analyze the weight of the DNA evidence, as well as for population studies characterizing the genetics of the Filipinos. Research projects were also undertaken wherein the DNA technology is incorporated to assist our judicial system by providing objective DNA evidence. Aside from research work, we are conducting forensic DNA typing services for paternity and maternity determination and analyzing complex kinship cases using current DNA typing technologies. In addition, we aim to increase awareness on the use of this technology by conducting lectures and workshops for different stakeholders, such as judges, lawyers, crime scene officers and other law enforcement agencies, medical practitioners, the local government, and NGOs. The laboratory realized the importance of engaging people, especially agencies that are end users of this DNA technology. We are the scientists, and it is important for us to bring this knowledge to the public, putting science at the service of the society. Through our research projects, with the funding and support from NSRI, the OST, OVCRD, OVPAA, CS, our international grants from the European Union, our university collaborators, and the many government and non-government agencies, we were able to procure the necessary equipment and supplies to push through with our research endeavors and services. We also appreciate the assistance given by our collaborators and colleagues in the field for sharing their technical know-how and for training us specially in data analysis. Now, on our 25th year of existence, we are reaching more heights with the help of these institutions. And soon we will be unboxing other equipment. But most important is our contribution to further the Philippine population genomic studies in the future. We've published our first research data in 1997, followed with several more validation and population genetic studies through the years. We have been part of international and local consortia with the aim of understanding more our genetic history and heritage. These studies are shared through scientific journals and other popular media platforms. We have also extended our technical assistance in the formulation of the Rule on DNA Evidence. This is an official recognition of the Supreme Court on the use of DNA technology in the country, with some of the landmark cases that we've conducted were cited. Part of what we are doing right now is this research, communication, and ethics instrument, a chronicle of the forensic genomics research process, which is an affirmation of our partnership and contribution to Filipino genetic studies. All this cannot be done without the able and passionate people of the DNA lab from the past to the present. Familiar to you or otherwise, these are the faces behind the DNA analysis laboratory. Our team, with the supervision of Dr. Cora de Ungria as our head and guidance of Dr. Nina Halos, we will continue expanding and exploring other avenues in forensic DNA and population genetic research. Happy 38th founding anniversary to NSRI, and welcome Sir Tooks to the NSRI family. Thank you so much for your attention.
Nakakatuwa, ano? Ang daming mga memories through the years. And we'd like to make a special thank you to Dr. Sarah and Dr. Patty. They're both here joining us live, although their message was recorded. Pero nandito sila po ngayon nakikinig at nanonood. It's good to see you back here again. I will now turn over the screen to a university researcher who has been with the RASL since 2014. She earned her PhD in Environmental Sciences from the Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology in 2019. Sorry, she was with the RASL since 2014. She was recognized by the IESM through the Outstanding PhD Student Award in 2020 during lockdown. Congratulations po. Congratulations. Dr. Jonna Longno Bondok. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Manya. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Happy anniversary, NSRI. Ako po ay naatasan na magpakilala sa ating mga former laboratory heads and former institute directors. Ang amin pong laboratory head, si Dr. Charita Kwan, unfortunately, won't be able to join us today. So let me introduce our first guest. He is a renowned scientist for his significant research contributions in microbiology.
Hello, NSRI.
Particularly in the field of protozoology. He has established the remarkable genetic heterogeneity of different protozoans within the taxonomic rank and species. His pioneering work in the development of a diagnostic tool to accurately differentiate Entamoeba species is greatly recognized. His accurate diagnosis of medically important protozoans through the design of a number of DNA markers are now being utilized by many laboratories worldwide. His significant contributions generated publications in reputable international scientific journals and earned him a number of prestigious national awards, the most recent of which was his conferment of the title Academician by the National Academy of Science and Technology. Our first guest is a Professor 12 at the Institute of Biology and holds the rank of UP Scientist 3. Join me in welcoming our immediate past director, Dr. Wendell Rivera.
Hello, NSRI. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well despite the situation that we're having right now. Happy 38th anniversary. Yes, 38 years of excellence in research and extension. Congratulations, everyone. I would like, of course, to greet the former directors who are around this afternoon joining this celebration, Dr. Virginia Carino, Dr. Ernilea Cao, and Dr. Jonas Kilang. And of course, congratulations to the new NSRI director, Dr. Elmer Estacio. I wish you all the best in leading this National Center of Excellence in the Natural Sciences. Of course, we all know that NSRI has been known to be the nurturing home for many scientists in our country today. It has contributed to the advancement of the different fields of natural sciences. So I wish for more productive years for the NSRI. Once again, good afternoon. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, Sir Windel. Balikan po natin si Dr. Pai Vital for a short message to Dr. Windel on behalf of the NSRI. Doc Pai?
Hello, thank you po. Good afternoon po again, everyone. I am assigned with another task by Dr. Elmer, and that is to thank Academician Windel Rivera as our former director. I'm not sure if Dr. Windel is here now, but because I couldn't see him in the participants list, but I'm sure he can watch it later. So sharing with you po the short video we prepared in line with the theme of this virtual celebration noon at ngayon, highlighting significant accomplishments po and few photos to help us look back in the years 2012 to 2019. Photo and information credit to NSRI Admin Office, particularly Ms. Leofe Gabriel and Ms. Des Rivera, and video preparation credit to Ms. Sarina Katapat and Ms. Nikki De La Cuesta of BRSL. The real gift coming from Dr. Elmer daw po. Pakisalo po ako, Sir Tux, dahil may pa-assignment po kayo. Biro lang po. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Windel. To the committee po, kindly play the short video. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Windel, Doc Pai. Our next guest is considered as one of the pillars of Philippine biotechnology, specifically in the development of Pinoy GMOs. She has assisted in developing and overseeing implementation of policies and programs of the Department of Agriculture in biotechnology. She has served as technical consultant to the Philippine Congress in the drafting of the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997 and in the preparation of various agricultural bills and resolutions. She has more than 4 decades of experience in teaching, research, and extension in molecular biology and biotechnology. She has more than 80 scientific articles and books on biotechnology and biosafety. She is the president and chairman of the board of the Biotechnology Coalition of the Philippines. Our next guest is the founding head of the first functional forensic DNA analysis laboratory in the country. That is our DNA analysis lab at NSRI. And this coming May is their 25th anniversary. Congratulations, Dal. Most of all, congratulations to our next guest. Friends, please welcome Dr. Saturnina Halas.
Thank you, Jonah. That's a very, baka mas mahaba pa yung sinabi mo kaysa sasabihin ko, ano. Yeah, congratulations everyone. Nakarating na tayo ng 38 years NSRI, no? Actually, NSRI is one of the best institutions I've worked with. Alam naman ninyo, it's like para akong rolling moss eh. I moved from one institution to another until such time na, yun, nagtagal ako talaga sa DA. Yung pala, mas bagay sa akin ang gumawa ng mga policies, science-based policies. And that is what I've been doing for the past 20 years with the Department of Agriculture. But my experience at NSRI has helped build me up as a, as a scientist, no, so that it gave me a very broad view actually of science and how it can help the country in development. And the nice thing about working in the NSRI at my time is that, I was given the freedom to work on any research project that I would like to work in, as long as I could get the funding, which is what happened, when I came to NSRI, I brought in my own funds to do tissue culture research on pine trees, which is one of the first papers, scientific papers published in international journals on tissue culture of pine trees. And then from there, I also started work on genetic engineering. But at that time, we sometimes lose our electricity for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And even if you have the refrigerator that you need, talagang wala eh. Pagka wala kang connection sa electricity, wala. So, in that, medyo na-waste yung efforts ko for 2 years trying to do some genetic engineering work. At saka, yung panahon na yon, we had to make our own enzymes. Ngayon, puro kits na, no? See, your life is easier these days than when we started the genetic engineering work. So, because of that, I moved on, no? At that time, bago yung PCR. So when I went to Japan, no, I learned PCR by myself. Kasi open na naman yung laboratory natin. You can, yun pa rin, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. So, but before that, no, may malaking kaso dito noon sa UPLB, yung isang estudyante na rape, multiple rape, ganun na kaso. It was a high-profile case kasi nagkataon na anak pala siya ng isang PSG. Doon nakarating kaagad sa office ng presidente at nai-assign sa PACC na ang head noon ay si Vice President Erap. Ang nito, kilala ko yung Chief of Staff ni President Erap, yung yumaong si Chancellor Raul de Guzman. So I went to him. Well, actually, ang nangyari dito sa DNA lab, no, I was in Los Baños with my friends at the genetics laboratory here, and we started discussing what can be done. And then we talk about DNA analysis that, bago din ang DNA analysis at that time, no? It was newly introduced also in the courts. Hindi pa nga siya accepted dito din sa atin. At that time, in 1994, may ruling ang Supreme Court that they will not accept DNA evidence kasi wala no? Wala dito sa atin. There's no expertise locally. So, nung nagkaroon yung kaso na yon, I went to see Chancellor de Guzman, and we talked about the possibility of setting up a DNA analysis laboratory sa NSRI. And he said, okay, you write me a proposal. I wrote him a 2-page proposal. And then I went on nga to train on PCR nga sa Japan. And I came back and we started yung final negotiations ng pagtatayo ng DNA lab. When I left, ang aming director ay si Dr. Carino, si Virgie. Isa rin very supportive din si Dr. Carino, no? And then when I came back, ang director na noon ay si Dr. Llaguno naman. Nung araw, at that time also, nung si Director si Dr. Llaguno, nakakuha ng malaking funding ang College of Science to set up their own laboratories, no, buildings for each department, ganon, so they can have their own laboratories. Ang kasi, ang unang function kasi ng NSRI is to serve as laboratories ng faculty members of the College of Science, and then we have the central laboratory, no, katulad nung chem lab, chemical analysis laboratory, and then of course yung microbiological laboratory. Ako ay talagang saling pusa lang, ano. It's a research laboratory talaga. I started out as a research laboratory, not a service laboratory. Pero ngayon, ito nga nung nag-uusap nga daw sa College of Science, no, at pinag-uusapan anong gagawin sa NSRI. Gusto na nilang sarhan at that time. So, nag-usap kami ni Director Yaguno. Sabi ko, bakit hindi tayo i-expand natin yung ating laboratory services not only for the students and faculty members of the NSRI, but for the general public, kasi kulang na kulang ang laboratory services talaga. So, yun ang naging direction tuloy ng NSRI. We expanded yung services laboratories. Tapos, we talk about yung accreditation. Kaya naman yung isang programa noon ng laboratory sa NSRI is to obtain accreditation. DNA lab cannot, at that time naman walang ibang expertise, no? Kasi nga nauna nga tayong unang DNA, forensic DNA laboratory, and then we even taught, tayo pa nga ang nagbigay ng direksyon, tsaka yung pag-train ng mga tao ng NBI, tsaka PNP. So, ang sabi ko noon, ang aking doon sa team, no, na nag-evaluate whether we're going to establish a DNA laboratory or not, is that we shall see to it na lahat ng research ng laboratory will be in internationally read journals, no, para talagang yun ang ipapakita namin na ito, look, no, our work is being recognized internationally, and therefore they could be accepted in court. Yun yung kaya very strong din yung aming direction nga sa publications. So yun yung yun yung short story about the DNA laboratory. At mabuti naman at dumating si Cora, no, for a while nahihirapan talaga akong maghanap ng head ng laboratory, no, and then dumating si Dr. De Ungria, and she's really the best head. I don't think I would have done what she has been doing for the past years, no. Talagang she really guided the laboratory well, and now it's it's internationally recognized, and we have contributed really to the acceptance of DNA, forensic DNA evidence in court. At ano pang sasabihin ko? Ang isa pang dito, no, I've been hearing about how NSRI should go further, no. I think we should really expand pa rin yung laboratory services, no. Ang research should be done, most of this, at nakita naman ninyo even sa DNA lab, no, validation of methodologies, development of new methods. Yun naman talaga ang pwedeng research when you work on a laboratory service unit. So marami ka pa rin magagawang research, no. So yun naman ang nakikita ko, kasi nga ay may mga ang mamahal na mga equipment which needs specialized people to operate. Maganda pa rin na ilagay yan sa NSRI, which is katulad nga nung meron pa ba tayo nung yung ating kaisa-isa for the whole country that was functional at that time, yung ating electron microscope, no? Isa pa yun na kailangan pa rin talaga na ilagay na centralized, kasi marami kang pwedeng paggamitan, and there are so many fields talaga na pwedeng gumamit ng electron microscope. Halimbawa, hindi lang naman sa College of Science, even sa engineering, no? Gusto lang makita yung sa material science, halimbawa, or even sa College of Home Economics. So I hope NSRI will grow further, no? Huwag na natin tingnan na i-redesign natin, kasi I think we're doing a good job serving not only the College of Science, but also to the general public. And I hope we continue with that. And I hope you are all happy working at NSRI. Like I said, it has helped me grow professionally. and I have been very happy at NSRI. I hope you do too. So keep safe at nako, ang daming COVID cases. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Nina. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. At kaming mas bago sa NSRI, nalaman kung paano nabuo ang DAL. And your suggestion also na expansion of our research and analytical services. Thank you very much, Ma'am Nina. Good afternoon po.
Welcome.
Yes po. Ito pong next guest natin is one of the reasons why I became interested in environmental chemistry and toxicology. To name a few of the positions she held, our guest was a member of the Technical Working Group and Expert Working Group on the Global Monitoring Program to assess the effectiveness of the Stockholm Convention. And she was also the National Project Coordinator for the Philippines in the United Nations University Persistent Organic Pollutants Monitoring Project in the East Asian Coastal Hydrosphere. With her great achievements in the field of chemistry, including publications in high-impact journals and chapters in scientific books with international publication, paper presentations in national and international conferences and workshops, and institutional meetings, she was conferred the title Scientist 1 by the DOST SES in 2013. She retired in 2014 as a University Researcher 5 at NSRI. Currently, she is a professorial lecturer on environmental toxicology at the Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology at UP Diliman. I am proud to present to you our next guest, the former laboratory head of the Research and Analytical Services Laboratory of the NSRI, my former professor and forever mentor, Dr. Evangeline Santiago.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Jonah, for the introduction. Magandang hapon sa lahat. It's nice to be back at NSRI kahit na virtual meetings lang, and to see old colleagues kahit sa screen lang. And I am tasked to give short message and also some memories of my stay at RASL as head of the lab, and also as a staff member of NSRI. And can I share the screen? No? Can I share it? Okay. Bago ako mag-umpisa, I would just like to mention na my association with NSRI is longer than NSRI because I joined NSRC in 1975 at 25 years old, newly married wife, as a newly married wife. I quit my job at the U.S. Naval Base in Olongapo City, where I am a native of, and joined my husband to settle in Manila and to, of course, raise a family. So after 39 years, I retired in 2014 at 65 as a Lola with 4 grandchildren. As you can see here, this is my photo in 1976 with the first RASL team. And this is Lulu Chu, and this is Jerry, and so this she has passed away.
Sorry.
Hello?
Hello, Ma'am Banchi. Pasensya na po, ma'am. There's a little technical problem. I think kailangan yung try i-share ulit po yung screen niyo.
Ay, hindi pa nabalik? Hindi na nakalagay ang screen?
Ibang screen po yung nakalagay. Yung pangalan pa lang po ng file. I-unshare niyo po muna and then share again.
Unshare. Okay. Let me see.
Pasensya na po, ma'am.
Share. technical problem.
Ma'am, gusto niyo kami na lang mag-share?
Oh, sige, sige, you can share it.
Sige, Bea, please.
Oh, sige, kukwento ko na lang anyway.
May we ask everyone else to kindly turn off their microphones? Thank you.
Okay, of course, this is this is supposed to be my presentation for the 38th anniversary. The first slide, please. Okay, this is just to tell you that my association with NSRI is longer than NSRI because I joined at NSRC in 1975 under Dr. Benvenido Miranda as director. And as a research assistant. And at 25 years old and newly married, and then after 39, I retired in 2014 at 65 as a Lola with 4 grandchildren. So I thank NSRI for the growing years of my family, but within these 39 years, because NSRI served as a halfway house for my family. You know, my children studied at UP and they have to wait for me before we go home to Valenzuela, quite far from UP. So I'm so glad that I had NSRI as a second home for my children. Next slide, please. And then I was tasked also to share some experiences as RASL lab head. And the foremost to my mind is, the experience of working with. Hello? Hello?
Okay na po, ma'am.
So the experience of working with RASL team, because we, as soon as I got, as I became RASL head, I had 2 long-term plans for the lab. And we were able to do it because of the hard work of RASL team. These two goals took a lot of years to work on. And RAS team showed that they are very hardworking and dedicated. So we got our ISO 17025 in 2003. And we are one of the first laboratories to get this accreditation in the country. And the second goal that I set for the lab was the capability building and analysis of toxic organics in the environment. This was suggested by Dr. Yaguno because for the longest time, RSL was doing metals analysis, and it's about time that we do organics analysis. So when I came back from my PhD study, so we started working on development of methods for toxic organics. Hard work of RASL team also proved that we can do it, and these efforts culminated in publication of 4 research articles in ISI listed journals on monitoring of toxic organics in the Philippine environment. So in 2007, we started to publish using the developed methods of toxic organics until 2012, and then we also managed to published a book chapter in 2016, 2 years after I have already retired. Next slide, please. So the memorable experiences I had of NSRI, the fun stuff, I'm sure everyone at NSRI can share these experiences also. Christmas presentations are always very difficult for for RASL, because maybe we are one of the more serious groups. We didn't have the comedic talent of some members, like also the RASL, the party ideas of some groups like MRSL and DAL. But one time we came up with really a good presentation, which can be very silly and hilarious, like this one. This is Barbie doll to be given by Belle, which is the fairy godmother to a poor poor child, which is Dr. Kwan here. And also exchange gifts can be exciting during Christmas party of the lab. We have exchange gifts. One would get the gift that he wished for, sometimes not, and it can really be very exciting. Of course, the outing to the beach is a real treat to the staff after working hard. And Jenna and the young ones are very good at planning this, but it was always Tita Jenny who had the last say in the seating arrangement in the vehicle. It was fun. And birthday celebrations are always happy times. You know? We always make the lab staff treats the birthday celebrant, and we make it special for her. For times when we had low budget, we just order one-piece chicken, but the celebrant will get the fully loaded meal. No, and when we go out, when the budget is not too low, we go out to eat, the celebrant always gets a special drink or a special dessert. So it makes one very special. So much so that after I retired, I thought of visiting the lab on my birthday and bring some merienda for the staff. Of course, the old rule does not apply anymore for the retired staff. So the next slides. So for my message to NSRI, to the in-house laboratories, wishing you more inspiration to achieve your goals, because I know that it is very difficult to move on once you encounter stumbling block in your operations, like lack of reagents or some equipment to be repaired, something like that. So I wish you more inspiration to achieve your lab goals. To the admin staff, wishing you more energy to support the NSRI researchers and in-house staff. I know that you're serving different groups, different individuals with different ideas and temperaments, and all wanting to get things done as soon as possible. So you need to have more energy. And to the new director, Dr. Elmer Stasio, I wish you both inspiration and energy to bring NSRI to greater heights. Congratulations to NSRI on its 38th anniversary, and congratulations to Dr. Elmer Stasio as new director of NSRI. More power to both of you. Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Vanji. Kita-kita po, pero hindi pa ngayon. Take care po. Okay, so our next guest is distinguished for her achievements in environmental science, zoology, and developmental biology. She has a vast professional experience, and to name a few, she is a former UP professor, Professor 12 at the Institute of Biology. She was a vice chair of UNESCO National Committee on Marine Sciences, chair of the Division of Biological Sciences of the National Research Council of the Philippines, chair of the Commission on Higher Education Subpanel for Biology, director of the Women's Association in Science in the Philippines. Wala po masyado. Wala po masyadong achievements. President of Biota Philippines, president of the Phi Sigma Society, which is the International Honor Society for Biological Sciences, director of the University of the Philippines Office of Research Coordination, and professorial lecturer of the University of Santo Tomas Graduate School. She is one of the founders of Kalayaan College, where she is also the vice president for student affairs, student and alumni affairs. It is an honor to introduce to you one of the former directors of our institute, Dr. Virginia Carino. Ma'am?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My warmest greetings to this much loved institution, the Natural Science Research Institute. Greetings to its dynamic director, scientists, researchers, and staff. Today is Holy Wednesday, a very appropriate day to meditate on the celebration theme, NSRI at 38. Noon, At ngayon, I'm just puzzled why NSRI is 38 years old because 7 years ago, on June 19, 2014, NSRI had a 50th founding anniversary. I still hold the invitation card for that occasion. 50 years old na kayo noon. I recall I was asked to reminisce on what life was before Professor T. Miranda built this institution literally from the ground years ago. Ngayon, 38th anniversary lamang. I am surmising that kaya kayo 38 years old, you started counting from the time the natural NSRC was restructured into the NSRI, envisioned to be the research arm of the newly created College of Science. What has the NSRI accomplished in its 38 years of existence? Its most notable contribution would be the key role it has played in the scientific manpower development of the nation. Starting with UP Diliman College of Science, most, if not all, of the scientists, researchers of its institute and department had their first break in research in the NSRI. The faculty, graduate students did their dissertation, thesis, and special problems work in the NS using its laboratories, equipment, financial grants, and other amenities. Those were absent in their own departments. NSRI has given birth or contributed to the development of scientists of other institutions like UP in the Visayas, the CIFDEC, UP Ateneo de Manila University, De La Salle University, University of Santo Tomas, Mindanao State University, and even University of Calgary in Toronto. Dinevelop natin ang mga scientists doon. Some UP Diliman institutions and departments had their beginning in SRI. I should mention that the UPMSI and the Department of Meteorology had their abodes within the NSRI building. The prestigious Institute of was conceived by NSRI scientists and constituted the nucleus of the then infant institute. Thus, with pride, we can say that NSRI was the womb that nurtured scientists and science institutions of note. Finally, I have to mention the in-house science NSRI. They are to be highly commended. Not have they done and published for researches, but they possess distinctive competences to perform significant service functions. Kasama sila sa nagbibigay ningning sa NS. Mabuhay ang NSRI. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, Ma'am Virgin.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, sabi nga ni Ma'am Oxy, incubator ang NSRI. Thank you, Ma'am. a Professor 12 at the Institute of Biology. Our next guest holds the rank of UP Scientist 1. She is the head of the Genetics Academic Group and Plant Genetics and Cyanobacterial Biotechnology Laboratory at the Institute of Biology. She is also the interim director of the Institute for Health Innovation and Translational Medicine, Philippine California Advanced Research Institutes, and the technical advisor to the Department of Agriculture Biosafety Committee. She has served as Deputy Executive Director of the Philippine Genome Center. She is a recipient of several awards, which include the UPD Gawad Chancellor para sa Natatanging Guro, AFMA R&D Paper Award by the Department of Agriculture, Service Award by the Philippine Society for Microbiology Incorporated, Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Teacher Award, and the most recent 2019 Filipino Faces of Biotechnology Award. Please help me welcome one of the former directors of the NSRI, Ma'am Ernelea Cao.
Hello, good afternoon sa lahat, and happy 38th anniversary for NSRI. As mentioned in the chat group, NSRI is far older, having started as NSRC. So siguro yung pag-celebrate natin, yun nga, pag pinag-combine natin, tama, 57, ika-58 magiging including the years with NSRC. So siguro just a brief history muna kung paano ako napunta sa NSRI. Actually, I started my stint at NSRI as OIC. And eventually just acting director to serve the unfinished term of Ma'am Elma Liaguno. So NSRI was actually my first major administrative assignment. I was then deputy director of the Institute of Biology, and then being a member of the NSRI Executive Committee representing IB. So that time, parang ako yung pinaka nearest siguro to serve the unfinished term. Kasi may konting familiarity na ako sa mandate ng NSRI in terms of implementing the research projects of the institutes, no, under NSRI. So parang doon lang ako actually nagsimula. So I really also did not realize na I will spend the next 12 years of my life, my academic life in NSRI. Kasi nga, naging full-time director na rin ako eventually in the year 2000. So, OIC and acting director ako noong 1999. So, up to 2012 actually. So, syempre, even if meron akong konting knowledge, wala ako ding talagang actual experience kasi nga the history of the NSRI leadership nanggagaling sa labas yung director. And so I took my time to really study what NSRI is all about. And then yun nga, digging into the history, kaya nalaman ko lahat ito na nagsimula ang NSRI even as NSRC. And that time, ang pinaka-striking na discovery that I had was that actually NSRI was then NSRC was the first national institute in the College of Science being actually instituted by a Republic Act. So hindi lang siya executive order, but it was a Republic Act which established NSRC. This was lobbied by the first director, Professor Benvenido Miranda, and the bill was authored then by the very respected Senator Jovito Salonga. So having dug itong glorious kung ano ba history ng NSRI, honestly, I felt that parang burden na wow, I'm inheriting something that is of this magnitude. And I think first kung I think all the previous directors, the former directors before me, kasi the way I saw it, having read all their annual reports and so on, just to familiarize myself with the goings on of the institute. That's what I did first, to get to know what the NSRI is all about. Ang nakita ko, the former directors had already laid down yung mga magagandang mga policies and guidelines. And ang naging attitude ko, if it ain't broken, why fix it? So, itinuloy ko lang. So, unlike yung mga nangyayari sa ibang administrations na pagka may bago, total revamp and changes, I implemented yung nakikita ko na nag-work naman, because they had already been a product of the hard work of all the previous directors. And then siguro konting fine-tuning na lang to keep up with the times. Yun ang naging parang mandate ko to myself. And so, una kong tiningnan to the staff, and I want to congratulate personally the admin staff, kasi immediately nakita ko very professional, very efficient yung mga staff members ng NSRI. Of course, I have to be honest, there are differences in personalities, differences in attitudes sometimes. That's part of human interactions. Pero in general, nakita ko na napakadaling katrabaho ng mga admin staff sa NSRI, kasi alam na nila yung gagawin. You don't need to really, step by step, look out to each one. And then yun din ang naging parang guiding principle ko eventually, even when I became executive. Kasi yung future, ito yung naging una ko, yung naging stint ko sa PGC and then eventually sa IB. Actually, I brought together the learnings that I had at NSRI. And yun nga, they are easy to work with because they are in the first place hardworking, may initiative. Yun yung unang-una kong sinasabi. Hindi mo na kailangan na isa-isahin. And yun nga, yung sinasabi kong naging parang guiding principle ko rin, yung output-based kasi ako eventually. Okay, I give you the plans, how do you want to implement it, and then with minimal supervision, they are able to accomplish it. And honestly, nung pumunta ako sa PGC, which was also a new office then, bago pa rin yung staff, and eventually in IB, I somehow, maybe even unconsciously, brought that idea that the staff should be efficient, dedicated to their job. And of course, alam ko, hindi ganun ka-recognized yung ating mga admin staff. They're always taken as second-class citizens. Sa UP, we have to admit it. But nakita ko that despite that, yung love for their work, and yung palagi ko ring sinasabi, because maybe they also enjoy their work. Kasi yung palagi kong sinasabi na, we spend actually 8 hours of our daily life at work. So technically, 1/3 of our life. Siyempre, hiwalay pa dun yung pagtulog supposedly ng 8 hours. So para bang kung malaki yung part ng buhay natin na ginagamit natin sa 24 hours natin sa work. And I think people, despite differences yun nga in personalities, essentially blended well. Kaya siguro naging in a way, kasi sabi ko palagi, yung work mahirap na in the first place, but it becomes easier when you enjoy going to your work. Hindi yung napipilitan ka lang kasi trabaho mo, kundi kasi na-enjoy mo rin yung company ng mga katrabaho mo. So to that, I commend all the admin staff who had been there. Nakita ko na silang nag-grow and so on. And then of course to the laboratories, yun din, nakita ko yung dedication ng mga reps and even the admin staff assigned to the internal laboratories. And dito ko rin nakita, because the potential was there already, the reps, yun nga siguro kasi in the past, the in-house laboratories were taken as service laboratories, yun nga, to serve the analytical needs of the faculty researchers, which they have been doing up to today. Pero yung isa kong nakita, because they have also been developing professionally, nagkakaroon ng masters, PhDs, na yung mga heads ng laboratories natin, they are also capable of doing their own researches. And so nakita ko yun, yung how they are also able to contribute to the research initiatives not only of NSRI, the CS, but also the country being a national center of excellence. So I actually am very proud even today of the achievements of the laboratories kasi may kanya-kanya silang niche, biological, microbiological, pinupuntahan ng mga yun nga outside institutions and even yung mga households for testing of their waters or food products, and of course yung chemical analysis of RASL, and yun nga yung trailblazing na sinabi kanina ni Ma'am Halos for the DNA analysis laboratory. So kita ko yung impact nila to nation building because they contribute to questions about the environment, about yung nga microbiological and food safety, forensics, and the law and the merging of science into it. No, and of course yun nga yung malaking potential ng ating mga biological assays because the Philippines is a biodiversity hotspot. So siguro ang masasabi ko and sasabihin ko na ito ngayon yung sana mabigyan pa ng suporta yung ating mga reps din kasi they are actually overqualified for the positions that they have. But yun nga, we have been limited by the items available again to the staff. Somehow, this has been siguro yung alternative na lang na para ma-take care, and I'm also very proud of this because the first time that the scientific career system was implemented in UP, taga NSRI yung first 3 recipients in UP Diliman of the scientific career system. And then yon, actually aside from that, yung mga sinabi na ni Ma'am din kaninang accreditation and all, no, may mga individual accomplishments din yung mga heads natin as Gawad Chancellor awardees and all other awards that had been bestowed to them. Hindi ko na iisa-isahin. So parang yung ang feeling ko noon, ako ay actually guide lang. Palagi ko nga inahalin tulad, parang captain of the ship, pero nandyan yung mga rows that make the ship going, kung anong direction. And actually, that is one thing lang na medyo in-implement ko, I think, taking in from Ma'am Elma Llaguno, I created the Research and Administrative Committee, which was made up of the heads of the in-house lab and the head of the admin and the property section to guide me in the internal management of the institute. So I did not get a deputy director. I was then the only director without a deputy director because I felt that I was ably assisted by these heads in terms of the day-to-day operations of the institute. And I thank all the members of the RAC for that. And then pagpunta naman dun sa ating mga faculty researchers, so ito rin yung time na we saw that there should be a close relationship with the College of Science. You know, NSRI can be independent, can get its own funding and so on. Pero nakita ko yung need rin na we should be able to interrelate with the College of Science. But to tell you honestly, I was also very sabihin na nating on guard because I wanted also to guard yung mga certain liberties that NSRI had practiced already. And this is in the Republic Act that created it, that it is an attached unit of the College of Science. And so like recommendations for yung mga appointments and renewals, promotions and all, ang nagte-take care yung administrative, yung personnel committee ng NSRI. And this reduced actually the bureaucracy. In the same way, the vouchers for the research projects do not go through the College of Science, which I saw as somehow an improvement in trying to cut the bureaucracy. Kaya mas mabilis-bilis yung purchasing and all ng NSRI. During that time. And we also availed of the foundation for yung mga private funding that came in because this allowed for research to be faster. Para naman hindi ganun ka-burden yung mga researchers natin, yung mga scientists natin na talagang iniintindi pa yung wala pang reimbursement and so on and so forth. And siguro, ang isa ko lang na maaalala na medyo binago namin because I headed also the Executive Council made up of representatives of the different units under NSRI with the dean as the co-chair, since publications have already been being espoused and has been used by the university for yung recognition din sa promotions and so on. So I said we have to be at par developments. And so instead of the technical reports, this was the time when we required now that a publication, at least one publication of, if not the entire research, a part of the research would be the final output. Para when the report is submitted to us, it has already passed, critical review of the reviewers or the evaluators. And so NSRI had been a contributor to the publication output of the College of Science. And I always say this, do not only count the in-house researchers, kasi konti lang ang in-house researchers, but we also support the faculty researchers. So the reason why the faculty researchers of all the other institutes under NSRI can publish is also because of the support that NSRI gives. I tried to calculate the funding. The funding generally in terms of MOOE, let's say, is small, but with the support of the RA who can study and has all the benefits of a regular employee, plus the support of, the use of space and the use of facilities like the photocopying machine, the internet, and so on, all these could be added up to really give substantial support to our faculty members. And yun nga, sa isa naman, in the case of our RAs, we placed a cap of only 6 years of their appointment. Bakit? Kasi we wanted our RAs to finish, and that is the maximum residency rule, to finish at least their MS during their stint at NSRI. Kasi ayaw ng Executive Council convince them na they will be forever RAs. No? When they finish their MS, they can move forward. Kasi palagi ko nga sinasabi sa mga RAs, gawin nyo lang itong stepping stone to start up your career. When you already have degrees, then you can move on to more permanent positions. And I'm very happy to see na yung mga dating RA sa NSRI ngayon, mga sikat ng faculty members sa biology, chemistry, even kasi inabot ko rin noon nung earlier days, NSRI, that's true, Ma'am Carino, was the incubator of the other national institutes. Inabutan ko pa doon ang kwarto ng ilang taga-physics. Yung room noon na mine-maintain ng Marine Science Center before it became the Marine Science Institute. So actually, naging incubator siya ng maraming mga productive scientists, not only in the College of Science, but the country as well. And so maraming maipagmamalaking contributions ang NSRI to this effort. And yun nga, nakikita ko na yung mga faculty na ngayon, professors na ngayon na dati ay RA sila. And sana maging tuloy-tuloy yung cycle. So yung RAs ngayon na nandito, you will be the future professors of different institutes and so on. And I know Dr. Windel Rivera was a former RA, and he is one example now who rose to become faculty, multi-awarded, and now even academician. So magagawa yan kasi parang yung NSRI provides that environment for nurturing. Yun yung palagi ko sinasabi, to nurture young scientists. Kaya ang priority ng NSRI, new PhDs, and so on. And siguro, since marami na akong nasabi, as a parting note, I just like to give my best wishes to Dr. Elmer Estacio. I know you are in good hands because you have, efficient, very professional. We can have differences, but the differences remain professional. That is what I will always be proud of NSRI. It has never become personal. Trabaho lang. And siguro, if I may, since I have also been verbalizing this in my annual reports to the new leadership and even the future leadership, wag sanang mawala sa plano even of the college ang NSRI, because I think it will continue to serve its mandate. Kahit na maging national institutes pa ang IB, IC at Math, and even IESM, Ang vision nakalagay naman yon dun sa mandate ng NSRI is to nurture new, maybe the emerging fields, and the NSRI could be the incubator for new. You know, there are new emerging fields now, data science and synthetic biology and all material science and so on. So pwedeng ito naman ang i-develop kung maging national institutes na yung mga fina-fundan ngayon. And sana ma-strengthen pa, the funding now can also be channeled to the in-house laboratories kasi mabuti na lang they are very active in getting external support kasi if they will depend on the MOOE, walang mangyayari sa kanila. I know that. And yun nga, I also see this model that the college can also have. Yun nga yung having dedicated staff members, researchers manning the laboratories full-time. I've already invited, and they know this, I will not mention names, our reps in the NSRI to go to the faculty position in IB or Chem or IESM because they will have better salaries there. They can become full professors and so on. But ano yung sabi nung isa, kailangan kasi ng time na kung head ka ng laboratory, tututukan mo yung laboratory, which is true being a faculty researcher. You have to divide yourself. Teaching, tapos may research ka, may extension services. Sa NSRI, I can see that, ma'am, yung mga lumang-luma ng mga equipment na may maintain pa rin. Kasi they have learned how to maintain. And I hope hindi mawawala sana yung funding for the preventive maintenance of the equipment kasi very important yon. Kasi our results will be as good as, of course, the instrumentation that we have. Kung hindi calibrated, kung anong klaseng resulta, anong klaseng data yung makukuha natin. So I know NSRI can later serve a bigger role pa in being that conduit maybe in the College of Science for access to equipment. Instead of each institute buying, then NSRI can have it as a centralized facility. Funding from researchers, pwedeng magbayad ng parang rental fee or services. And in a way, NSRI contributes to the university because of these also extension services that they perform, they conduct. We contribute to the coffers actually of the university. So, yun lang ang masasabi ko. Of course, mga ano ko lang naman to, mga suggestions. So, again, congratulations. Siguro just on a personal note, not only professionally, but personally, NSRI had also been a nurturing ground for me. I was widowed when I was in NSRI, and they supported me also. And actually, it became part of my goal. My grief, I channeled to productive efforts. Kaya siguro ako nagtagal sa NSRI kasi parang na-engross ako sa trabaho ko sa NSRI that it has become part of my life already. And siguro yung konting kwento na ibigay naman ni Vanji, I also enjoyed, you know, sa NSRI, magpabili ka lang ng ilang kilong bangus, ipaluto na sinigang dun sa baba, party na. And we were happy with those simple things also at NSRI. So thank you also for actually loving me because when I had family challenges, you were there to support me also. Thank you. Thank you. And stay safe. I hope we'll get to meet again after the pandemic. Sana bonggang-bonggang celebration ng lahat ng mga isa-celebrate sa NSRI, gawin natin after the pandemic. Take care and God bless.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ma'am Ernie. Thank you very much. Yung na-share po ng ating speakers today, nakita natin yung leadership and passion na pwede natin, na tuloy-tuloy natin dapat gamitin as inspiration tayong nasa NSRI. And thank you for giving us the chance to see and hear you today. Napaka-precious ng mga shinare nyo sa amin. Balik tanaw, nabasa ko yung message ni Ma'am Cora na tama, isang magandang coffee table book na po ito sa 40th anniversary. So thank you. I would like also to thank the Special Events Committee for giving me this opportunity to introduce our former lab heads and former directors. Ang dami ko pong natutunan. Maraming salamat po. So now, let me turn over the mic to our main host, Manya. Miss Manya, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Jonah. We learned a lot and we truly appreciate all that you have done for NSRI. Lahat po ng dating director and lab heads. Ngayon po, we're very glad that we'll be having another special message from a very special sharer this afternoon. So we have with us a Batang UP who has always been a staunch supporter of the NSRI and of science in general, and more importantly, of making science relevant to the Filipino people. He is a professor of mathematics, convener of the Center for Integrative Development Studies, Data Science for Public Policy Program. He headed the College of Science, Science and Society program for several years and was the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs of the CS and served as the UP Diliman Vice Chancellor for Research and Development before moving on to his current job. He has said that one of his goals is to make UP a modern research university with a public mission. His latest appointment came at a most opportune time for UP Diliman, putting a man of science and mathematics with a heart for the Filipino people at its helm. Just as the world moved into the COVID-19 era, with ECQ being declared barely 2 weeks into his term, and the issues of activism and red tagging coming into play. Please welcome our Chancellor, Dr. Fidel R. Nemenso. Chancellor Nemenso.
Maraming salamat. Nakaka-pressure to. Mas mahaba yata introduction kayo sa sasabihin ko. Unang-una, maligayang kaarawan. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to NSRI. Congratulations sa bagong direktor, si Dr. Elmer Estacio, Tux. Congratulations sa iyo. Hello po sa mga former directors dito. Tagal ko kayong kilala. Sa mga science researchers, mga reps at staff ng NSRI. No? Maraming salamat. No? Thank you for all the excellent work you've been doing all these years. Alam niyo, I've seen the growth of NSRI from its beginnings. I grew up, sabi nga, Batang UP. No? I grew up in a neighborhood which was also populated by scientists. No? This was in the 60s. No? I knew the first director of the institute, maybe the center, Dr. Miranda and his wife, no, because they were the old people in our neighborhood. I remember because my grandfather was also a scientist. I remember early talks during over dinner about the establishment of programs such as NSRC, the Natural Science Research Center. Alam nyo, the unique, the nice thing about NSRI is its interdisciplinarity. No? It was one of among the first interdisciplinary programs of the College of Science, possibly among the first interdisciplinary programs of UP Diliman. No? I mean, I want to commend NSRI for all the excellent work in its more than 38 years. Maybe I'll even go back 50 years. Good work, no, as a hub of research, extension, and public service. No? But gusto ko lang sanang susugan yung sinabi ni Director Ernie, no? Na sana mapalakas ang programa ng NSRI, lalo na sa mga new emerging fields. No? some of the most important fields of science right now are not in the pure disciplines, but are in the intersections of the disciplines. No? And interdisciplinary centers like NSRI, I hope will continue to be a healthy meeting place, a productive meeting place of scientists, researchers from different disciplines. No? Nabanggit kanina, among these, of course, is data science, because in data science is one of those areas where you can get people from different disciplines working together. There's a lot of emerging fields that are focused on problems that are complex. And as we know, the most important problems right now are complex, that require people to get out of their silos and work with scientists and researchers from other disciplines. And I hope that NSRI in the coming years will play this role, no, as a meeting place of researchers working with researchers from other disciplines. Again, I want to congratulate everyone, my colleagues, friends from NSRI, and I best wishes to the new director. Gaya ng sinabi ni Dr. Cao, sana matapos itong pandemya para magkaroon tayo ng isang bonggang get-together. Maraming salamat sa lahat.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. We're very happy that you were able to fit us into your very busy schedule. Thank you. We have heard, we have learned a lot about the RASL through the sharing of Dr. Vanji and about the DNA analysis laboratory from both Dr. Halos and Gay. Pakinggan naman po natin ang mga mensahe mula sa Administration Office, Property and Maintenance Section, Biological Research and Services Laboratory at Microbiological Research and Services Laboratory. To speak about the BRSL, may I call again on Dr. Pai Vital.
Hello po again. Bigyan po ako ng third assignment ni Sir Tux, pero baka ma-overexpose na po ako. So, isi-share na lang po ng lab ng BRSL ang video that we prepared. Kasama sa pag-prepare po, syempre, sina Ma'am Raquel Rubio, Miss Erna Elias, Miss Ryan Mihalova, Mr. Jude Francisco, Miss Jessa Carino, at si Miss Donabel Sena. In line with the theme, noon at ngayon. So, I hope you enjoy watching po. Paki-share na po, please. Thank you.
The Biological Research and Services Laboratory, or BRSL, is one of the 4 research and technical laboratories of the Natural Sciences Research Institute in the University of the Philippines Diliman. The BRSL began as the electron microscopy room under the supervision of the RASL. It used to house a transmission electron microscope that was donated by the Japanese government and established to provide services related to microscopic analysis of biological samples, mostly with the use of the TEM. The operation of the EM room eventually became independent from the RASL, and when the Biological Services Lab, or BSL, was formed in the early 1990s, the TEM technician, and room were absorbed by the lab. Since then, the laboratory expanded its research and services thrust, such that in 1999, it was renamed the Biological Research and Services Laboratory, or BRSL. It has undertaken researches in the field of medical genetics, molecular biology, biotechnology, environmental genotoxicity, and DNA analysis of bioarchaeological samples. It also provides biological services, mainly in the evaluation of toxicity and safety of foods and drugs. The lab has trained numerous students, teachers, researchers, and other professionals in basic molecular biology techniques, laboratory animal handling, and plant chromosome preparation through its workshops, and offers thesis support, student apprenticeship, and biological assistance to clients, especially from the College of Science and the university, as well as from the public and private sectors. In 2007, the BRSL pioneered the holding of a regular workshop on the proper care and use of laboratory animals in compliance with Philippine Animal Welfare Act and the Department of Agriculture Administrative Order No. 40, which is an essential component of the Animal Care and Use Program of UP Diliman. In 2018, the Molecular Biology Workshop was revived with modified activities and up-to-date methods, supported and funded by Office of Extension Coordination of the UP Diliman Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Development. In 2019, with the changing times and increase in number of researchers and staff, the BRSL conducted its strategic planning workshop, and from this point, the lab is governed by its vision of becoming a leading laboratory in biological research and technical services in the Philippines and in the world. And its mission summarized into 5 Ps: promote, produce, perform, provide, and protect. Additionally, the laboratory's first ever microalgae workshop was held in June of the same year in cooperation with the Philippine Phycological Society Incorporated, focusing on the isolation and purification of freshwater microalgae. In the same year, the Advanced Molecular Biology Workshop was also organized for the first time in September to provide progressive concepts on molecular and genetic engineering through a series of lectures and hands-on activities. In 2020, the BRSL co-sponsored the ASEAN Data Science Explorers Enablement Session together with the ASEAN Foundation and the College of Science Computational Science Research. Currently, the laboratory conducts free webinars and online consultations that encompass disciplines of biological sciences during this difficult time of pandemic. With support from the NSRI administration, the college, and the university, the BRSL also boasts of its recent awards, recognitions, media exposure, scientific papers, and conference presentations of its members. The BRSL, now composed of 23 researchers and staff, mostly project-based, continues to develop its equipment and facilities in order to improve its services and enhance its research, and fulfill the laboratory's advocacies of providing excellence in biology research, serving the Filipino community, and promoting the advancement of science both at the local and international arena.
Thank you so much. It was good to learn about all the things going on at the BRSL. Marami na silang mga nagawa and continue to do during the pandemic. Our next presentation will be coming from the MRSL. Ang magsasalita po ay si Tita Oxy. We've heard her mentioned several times during the program, Dr. Maria Auxiliana T. Siringan. She started her career here at the NSRI and has been head of the Microbiological Research and Services Laboratory for many years. Apart from heading the MRSL, she actively participates in NSRI matters. She has chaired the Biosafety Committee of the Institute since it was formed in 1995 by then-Director Elma Yaguno. The committee has grown through the years, improving biosafety in the Institute. In fact, other units in UP Diliman send their staff to attend the biannual NSRI Biosafety Seminar. She is a member of the Reps Personnel and Fellowship Committee, the NSRI Research RAC, the Post-ECQ team, to name a few. She is also very active outside of NSRI in both national and international scientific organizations, such as the Philippines Society for Microbiology and the Asian Network of Research Resource Centers. She serves in several national technical working groups and is involved in a number of multidisciplinary researches. I will let her tell the MRSL story without further ado. Please welcome Dr. Maria Auxilia, T. Siringan.
Oxy na lang.
Oxy.
Oo, oo.
Yes.
Naririnig mo ba ako?
Yes po, loud and clear. Yes po.
Sige, hindi ko alam kung ano nangyari sa camera ko, pero later I'll figure it out. So, I will just talk we share this video about my journey at pahapyaw lang yung mga nangyari sa MRSL, no? So, I will let the PowerPoint presentation speak for my journey and for MRSL. Sige, share na. Thank you. My journey as microbiology started in the UP Culture Collection, founded in 1971 by the late Dr. Flordelis R. Uyenko, a visionary and outstanding microbiologist. The baton was passed on to Professor Luisa S. Saniel, who, by the way, will be turning 96 this August. It is in UPCC where I learned how to culture microbes with dedicated and competent microbiologists. They are not only trainers and mentors, they are my CCBFFs. They are my CC family. Dito po lahat nagsimula. Ayan po ang gamit namin, ang laboratorio, mga unang equipment. See, we can innovate. Formica top tables fabricated by the carpenters, tested rocks made of chicken wire, glass pipettes, and rubber aspirators. And there's the old reliable pressure cooker. They did the job. Our first laminar flow hood came in 1976. Wala pa ako sa CC noon. Gumagana pa to hanggang ngayon. Just a little trivia, every year we submit a justification for the existence of the UPCC. I know this because I was one of those who crafted the justification. Taon-taon, and we are still here today. I left in 1988 to pursue my PhD studies in Houston, Texas. Was left behind, Sonia Celia Vina carried on with perseverance with the leadership of Professor Saniel. In spite of all the odds and meager resources, they worked so hard to maintain and upgrade the UPCC, which became the Microbiological Service Laboratory. I returned in 1994, and in October of that year, I started as head of the MSL. I was given the option to join IB or MSI. Lagyan ko lang ng konting alat, pwede na ako sa MSI. But I chose to return to NSRI. Bakit? It is the place where I was nurtured. It was my scientific home. It is where I think I can work with committed people with integrity and competency. It is where I think I can contribute most. Last October 2019 was my 25th year as reps and head of MRSL. MRSL aims to be a vital microbial resource center. We are thankful to the Lord who enabled us to generate funds. Renovation in 2004 to 2006 cost at least 2 million pesos. Katas po ng services, naubos. But we kept going and are able to buy and maintain equipment through our extension work and projects. Pipeters, resin top benches, autoclavable rocks, freeze dryers, PCR machine, autoclaves, and there are more to come. We acknowledge the support of the past NSRI directors, our consultants, and colleagues. We appreciated our interaction among the hundreds of clients, students, researchers, and other stakeholders. We are here to continue our mission, training technical staff, advising and mentoring students, providing microbial analysis, undertaking research in microbes, their diversity and potentials, conserving our microbial resources, and collaborating with different sectors. The Gawad Extension Award in 2017 reminds us to keep on serving the Filipino people. Microbiologists para sa bayan. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nakipaglakbay sa MRSL. Marami nagtrabaho, gumawa ng thesis, nakipagsaliksik, nakipagkaibigan, nakisalo-salo at nagbahagi ng kanilang talento at talino at ng kanilang buhay. Nawa magpatuloy na mamunga at umunlad ang MRSL at ang NSRI. Ito ang inaasam-asam natin sa pangunguna ng ating bagong pinuno, Dr. Elmer S. Estacio.
Thank you so much, Tita Oxy. Congratulations on your 25 years that you've dedicated to NSRI and to MRSL. And you're really our tita there. We look up to you. Thank you so much for being with us at NSRI. Moving on, we heard his story earlier. Our next sharing comes from another one who joined NSRI as a non-UP contractual of the BRSL in 1995. As he said a while ago, he became a permanent employee after 3 years as a starting as a precision instrument technician, which is much needed by the NSRI, and later transferred to the property and maintenance section of the Institute, which he now heads. He is also electrical and fire safety officer of the Institute. Through the years, while working, he earned a degree not just in electrical engineering, but also a master's in public administration. Pakinggan po natin ang head ng NSRI Property and Maintenance Section, Engineer Alvin P. Malyari.
Magandang hapon po muli, Alvin Malyari ng Property and Maintenance Section. Nandito po ako upang iulat ang mga accomplishment or improvement dito sa NSRI na tinulungan ng Property and Maintenance Section. Pumili lang po ako ng mangilan-ilan dahil sa dami, baka maubos ang ating oras. Ang isa sa mga napili ko ay una, yung installation ng additional emergency fire hose at saka yung emergency shower located at pesticide lab at saka electron microscopy room. Kasama din dito yung regular po namin pagpaparefill ng mga pamatay sunog o fire extinguisher. Yung pangalawa, yung palagi namin ginagawa, yung regular and maintenance ng NSRI electrical system, kasama na po yung cleaning ng underground water tank sa pakikipagtulungan po sa ating buting building administrator.
Oy, ako yun. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Pang-apat, andyan din po yung upgrade o pag-upgrade ng ating mga equipment sa opisina katulad ng copier. Dati po nagse-xerox kami, kailangan pa namin umakyat sa room 234 para mag-xerox. Pero ngayon, dahil na-upgrade na, meron na po kaming sariling copier. Panglima, kasama dito po yung retiling ng first floor, second floor, conference room, EC room, retiling ng PMS, kasama yung computer room at iba pang lab rooms. Kung makikita nyo, meron ng makabagong workstation ng admin office. So, bawat mesa nila ay may kanya-kanya ng partition. So, sa ngayon, sila muna. At ang pang-pito, ito po, yung isa sa mga matindi namin ginawa, ang installation ng CCTV camera sa paligid ng NSRI, maging sa loob po. Ito ay sa tulong ng ating butihing building administrator uli.
Hoy, ako yun.
Ayan. Salamat BA na ang ginastosan lang ng NSRI ay yung materials. So kami na rin po ang gumawa, nag-install at nag-set up sa paligid ng NSRI. At ang pinaka-latest po na nagawa ay ang electrical rewiring sa buong NSRI. Nung ginagawa kasi namin ng electrical system maintenance, madalas kaming makakita ng hotspot. Ang hotspot po kasi ay isa sa mga pinanggagalingan ng electrical fire. Kaya salamat at nagawa yung NSRI electrical rewiring. Ito ay nagsimula sa tulong ng ating buting Director Rivera at yung iba pang staff na tumulong. So maraming salamat po. Yan lamang po ang aking maiulat sa ngayon. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Kuya Alvin. At maraming salamat sa Property Maintenance Section. Malaki talaga ang tulong na naandyan kayo para sa amin, para sa research and services activities ng mga in-house labs. And I'm sure yung mga individual project leaders and other researchers na dumadaan din ang procurement through the Property and Maintenance Section ay tuwang-tuwa din na naandyan kayo. Yung improvement din sa institute. Thank you so much. I guess dapat pasalamatan ko din at this point yung ating building administrator. So, ang magsasalita po ngayon ay napaka-importante din dahil without the administration office at talagang mahihirapan tayo sa mga pangangailangan. And the administration office and the property and maintenance office, unique ito sa NSRI. I think tayo lang ang may ganitong setup. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But ako, one, I really appreciate having these offices and these people. And I think NSRI has benefited from this. Yung mag-share tungkol sa administration office, well, she started off, I think, with Dr. Nazarea way back when. And after that, she held the position, she holds now the position of publication officer 2, and is in charge of producing the NSRI annual report. Yung binanggit ni Ma'am Ernie kanina na binabasa niya to learn about the history of the NSRI. So she's in charge of ensuring that this collective effort of the Institute results in a comprehensive and relevant report each year. She joined the NSRI family, as I said, dun muna siya kay Dr. Nazarea, and in 1991, she joined the administration office. So natuwa ko when I found this out. Happy 30th year as part of the NSRI family too. To share us how the NSRI, how the NSRI admin section has grown through the years, let's all listen to Ms. Vilma Vega. Ate V?
Magandang hapon po. Ako po si Vilma Vega, Publication Circulation Officer, NSRI Administrative Office. Ako po ay kawani ng NSRI mula pa noong 1992. Ilan sa mga accomplishments ng NSRI kung saan malaki ang partisipasyon ng Administrative Office upang ito ay makamit ay ang mga sumusunod. Una po, pag-monitor at pag-maintain ng lahat ng NSRI items kung saan bawat vacant item ay nare-request agad at hindi nawawala. Actually, may nadagdag pa nga na 7 loaned reps items para sa 4 na in-house labs. Ikalawa, pag-convert ng 3 non-UP contractual staff upang maging UP contractual admin staff para sa MRSL. Pangatlo, pagkaroon ng additional 4 UP contractual URAs with continuing authority to fill na bumubuo sa 30 UP contractual URAs. Ika-4, pagkaroon 2 non-UP contractual personnel para sa admin at property section. Permanent admin assistant 5 na ngayon ang para sa admin office. Constant follow-up ng request para sa additional research MOOE na approve naman ito palagi. Ika-6, pag-monitor ng funds sa 7 trust accounts ng NSRI at project funds para sa NSRI funded projects at outside funded projects. Ika-7, pag-assist sa 30 project-based URAs ng kanilang employment needs hanggang sa kanilang exit clearance. At ganun din po sa mga project leaders mula sa kanilang contract at project needs. Ika-8, pag-monitor sa submission ng publications at application ng IPAs. Kung dati-rati, ang gamit na nahihiram sa NSRI ay overhead projector, ngayon ay LCD at laptop na. Meron na rin po kami ngayong paper shredder, binding machine at laminator. Ngayon po ay naka-cubicle na rin ang aming workstations at may 3 smart TV na nagagamit para sa mga announcement and presentations. Ilan lang po ito sa mga accomplishment dahil sa sipag at malasakit ng mga empleyado sa admin office. Patuloy po namin gagawin ang aming mga trabaho para sa ikauunlad pa ng NSRI. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Ate V, and happy 30th year anniversary po ulit. Now I call on Dr. Oxy Siringan to take charge of the next part of the program. Tita Oxy.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Manya. Happy 38th anniversary sa lahat. Isang karangalan ang magpakilala sa isang mahusay na mananaliksik at profesor. Maglugod kong ipakikilala sa inyo ang bagong direktor ng Natural Science Research Institute, si Dr. Elmer S. Estacio. Si Dr. Estacio o simply Sir Tux ay isang profesor sa National Institute of Physics or NIP. Sa larangan ng optoelectronics, semiconductors, optical spectroscopy, dito siya nagpakadalubhasa. Ang kanyang talino at kahusayan ay nalinang sa NIP. kung saan iginawad kay Dr. Estacio ang bachelor's at master's degree sa physics at PhD sa applied physics. Marahil matututunan natin kung ano ang optical multi-channel analyzer kay Sir Tuk sa mga susunod na webinar. Naisip ko lang na baka may gamit ito sa aming mga mikrobyo. Ang expertise ni Dr. Estacio ay kinilala dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang bansa. Naging profesor siya sa Fukui University noong 2010 hanggang 2012 matapos niyang makumpleto ang postdoctoral fellowship sa Institute of Laser Engineering sa Osaka University mula 2006 hanggang 2010. Nakatutuwang malamang nag-umpisa si Sir Tux bilang design engineer at science research specialist sa isang proyekto. At doon nagsimula ang kanyang paglalakbay sa maningning na larangan ng optics. Tunay ngang nagdingning ang kahusayan ni Sir Tux. Noong 2018, iginawad ng National Research Council of the Philippines ang 2018 NRCP Achievement Award in Physics. Sa kabubukasang taong 2021, itinalaga ng administrasyon ng Universidad ng Pilipinas si Dr. Estacio bilang ikasampung direktor ng NSRI. Upang mapagpatuloy ng institute ang mandato at misyon nito para sa universidad at sa bayan, nagsimula si Sir Tux na kilalanin ang mga kawani at reps ng NSRI at dinggin ang kanilang mga plano at hikain. Umpisa pa lang, may mga pangangailangan ng mga laboratorio ang natagunan. Nakikita namin magkakaroon tayo ng isang mabungang pakikipag-ugnayan dahil kalakip ng kanyang pangitain para sa institute ay ang kanyang karanasan bilang Deputy Director for Facilities and Resources sa NIP. Kahit po maraming kaabalahan si Sir Tux, may panahon din siyang mag-ehersisyo, kasama pa ang kanyang magandang may bahay si Christine at ang kaisa-isang anak ni si Damien. Minsan na nakikita kami sa may hardin ng rosas, sila tumatakbo, kami ni Ando naglalakad kasi mas may edad na. Hindi ko na po patatagalin. Salubungin natin ng isang mainit na pagpupugay ang ating bagong direktor, si Dr. Elmer S. Estacio, o simply Sir Tux.
Maraming salamat, Ma'am Oxy. Nakaka-pressure naman. Okay. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Sa inyong lahat na nandito ngayon sa ating online celebration. Ako po si Elmer. I started serving as NSRI Director around the middle of January po of this year, with just over 2 months, and despite these restrictive pandemic conditions, I have felt the welcoming spirit of the NSRI family. From the admin and PMS offices and our support staff, our laboratory heads and researchers, and the security and maintenance personnel, naramdaman ko po yon. Nakakataba po ng puso. Maraming salamat po sa mainit na pagtanggap ninyo sa akin. At napapag-usapan ng mainit na pagtanggap, nais ko po sanang ipakilala muli yung mga members ng NSRI Executive Council. Nag-promise po ako na bilang kaisa nila sa hindi in-house constituents ng NSRI, ako po magpapakilala sa kanila. So sila po ang mga kinatawan ng iba't ibang institutes ng College of Science sa NSRI. So, needs no further introduction, si Dean Giovanni Tapang, he is my co-chair sa Executive Council. Si Dr. Kaway na lang po kayo pag nandyan kayo. Dr. Michael Velarde ng Institute of Biology, si Dr. Alan Christopher Yago, Institute of Chemistry, Dr. Maizoni Ligaray ng IESM, si Dr. Gino Angelo Velasco ng Math, and lastly, si Dr. Lian Dasalias, Material Science and Engineering Program. Noong ako po ay Program Director ng Material Science Engineering Program, nakapagsilbi na rin po ako ng kaunting panahon bilang miyembro din ng Executive Council ng NSRI. So, in accordance to this afternoon's theme, NSRI at 38, yeah. And as everyone seems to be in the spirit for trips down memory lane, let me do so as well. As someone coming from the outside, allow me to share how I perceived NSRI po as an undergraduate applied physics student in the early 1990s. NSRI was the place to buy frogs for our biology courses. Kailangan mo ng palaka. Tara, sa NSRI. I don't know if they still feed the frog for you if you ask them to do so. Si Kuya doon noon. Kasama po kasi sa laboratory ang kailangan marunong kang mag-feed ng palaka, ikaw mismo. Kung saan-saan po tumatama yung needle pag ako po ang gumawa. Kaya lagi po ako nagpapanggap na nagpipit ng palaka sa lab. Pero ang totoo po nun, double dead na po yung specimens ko. Sa dami ng retakes ko sa Bio 11 and 12, nagtataka na po sa akin noon, bakit di na ako natigil sa kakabili ng palaka? Opo, si Dr. Ernie Cao, dating director, nasingko din po ako dyan in one of the many incarnations of my Bio 11 and 12 enrollments. Aside from frogs, however, I have, as an applied physics major, visits to the NSRI was a physics major's ultimate dread. Of course, we remember that in the 1990s, some of our super duper senior professors of NIP have their air-conditioned faculty rooms at this institute. We come here to submit problem sets, pahulian kasi ayaw mong mauna, baka masabihan kang nerd, and to claim papers with embarrassingly failing marks. Either that or we get called by these professors to fix or upgrade their desktop computers. Hindi ho nalalayo sa ginagawa ni BA Choi ngayon. Sa ganyang paraan po kami nakakapag sip-sip, if you may say so. Nakakapag-sip-sip sa aming mga super-duper senior profs na nandiyan sa NSRI. In general po, I have always remembered the NSRI building as a place that was much cleaner, much more spacious, and the interior was not gloomy at all. Unlike the one we were holding at that time, the Pavilion 3 of Palma Hall. Noon pa lang po, tuwang-tuwa na po ako sa NSRI building. Fast forward natin ng malayo, 27 or so years later, here I am again, this time as your institute director for the next 3 years. I now would like to quickly give you a rundown of my short and medium-term plans for NSRI. Sabi po sa akin, magbigay din po ako ng kaunting idea kung ano po yung mga napag-usapan namin ito, mga past na naging maikling meetings namin sa RAC. So, to start off, we have been and still are in mostly work-from-home scheme. Ano po? In fact, with the current situation, we may not know when do we exactly get to freely return to NSRI and physically carry out our respective tasks. However, we also know that this situation is temporary. Hopefully, this will all be over soon. At the moment, we in the admin have tasked ourselves in preparing the NSRI building and its facilities for everyone's eventual return. Aantayin po namin ang inyong pag-ating. In particular, the OVCA has leased to us 4 Ubix photocopier printer units to be freely shared by the 4 in-house labs and the admin and PMS offices. Wala na pong logbook. In fact, we are additionally throwing in 30 reams of bond paper for each of the labs for their printing and copying needs. No promises po, ma'ams, sirs po, pero sana madagdagan natin yan later on. I am also asking from CSRC and UP Computer Center their assistance for us to upgrade our internet routers. Nagsimula na po namin silang kausapin. We do this so that we can utilize fully the high-speed connection provided for by DILNet. At the same time, we are also in the process of revitalizing the web and social media presence of NSRI. Given the pandemic situation po, the web and social media are very important in affirming and maintaining the Institute's relevance. NSRI is currently maintaining strict health and safety protocols, while its laboratory analytical services have been temporarily halted for the general public. But rest assured that we are preparing the Institute to resume its services, hopefully po by this coming June. Pagdating ng Hunyo, when proper protocols have been drafted, crafted, and are in place, back to business na po sana ang NSRI. Admittedly, with the pandemic, funds have been low. Totoo po yan. But we will slowly procure equipment to improve the lab and admin conditions at NSRI so that when you do come back, even just by a bit, kahit konting-konti lang, you'd notice and you'd know that things have improved. We are currently preparing the necessary documents, PPMP revisions, and these purchase request documents to procure several window-type inverter aircon units for the in-house labs and for the admin offices. In addition po, we also plan furniture and audiovisual equipment upgrades in the near future for our conference and meeting rooms. In fact po, a functional lounge discussion room for everyone's use is also being conceptualized doon po sa upper floor ng NSRI. Maganda po ito in conjunction with the this quick discussion a while ago regarding having to publish a coffee table book for the 40th anniversary of NSRI. So these are the easy tasks. Hindi po masyadong mahirap ma-implement ang mga yan. In fact, sinisimulan na po namin gawin. For the more challenging tasks in the intermediate period po, ito po ang plano ng inyong direktor. We will be requesting the Office of the Chancellor, nandiyan pa ba si Chancy, for a Deputy Director for Research and Extension position for NSRI para po mabawasan ang trabaho ko. Biro lang. Para po sa ikabubuti ng NSRI. For 10 years now, the NSRI MOOE has been pegged at 55,000 pesos per year for a National Research Institute po. This is simply inappropriate. We hope to be able to significantly increase this amount by 2022. Sana nga nandiyan pa si Chancey. Thirdly, I have not touched on the issue of the collab construction and the earmark funding associated with it. I hope and pray that you please bear with me. With due consultation with the EC and with the in-house NSRI stakeholders, I will be requesting for status updates and seek advice on how to proceed with it from the offices above us. Together with the future Deputy Director for Research and Extension, we will revisit trusts of NSRI to further its mandate in supporting the College of Science academic programs and its research agenda. Yan naman po talaga ang gusto natin gawin sa NSRI. This we will do vis-a-vis strengthening the in-house labs extension service competencies. And narinig ko po na ilabas kanina yung pong idea. In fact, matagal na ho na hindi ganun kadaling i-implement yung pong idea na pagkakaroon ng centralized facilities based po sa NSRI. So I think medyo mahaba na ito. With that, let me end my talk by thanking the members of the Special Events Committee for tirelessly working on and off hours even to put this event together. To our dear Chancellor, Fidel Namenzo, maraming salamat po at pinalunlakan nyo kami kahit na sobrang busy po ninyo. To Dean Giovanni Tapang, who was here earlier, maraming salamat po sa suporta, Dean. To the former directors and the lab heads who came and devoted their time for this event. To my predecessor, former Acting Director Jonas Kilang and Dr. Windel Rivera. To everyone who took time off their busy schedules to be with us today. And especially to our invited guests who were game enough to share their few words. Specific shout out po kay Ate V. Pahirapan po mag-convince sa kanyang magbigay at mag-share ng kanyang presentation. Maraming salamat, Ate V. For 38 years, the NSRI has been a pillar of the natural sciences research and extension. Let us work together not only to keep it that way, but to further boost NSRI status to new heights for the next 38 or even 58 if you count from the establishment of the NSRC and many, many more years to come. Maraming salamat. Have a blessed Holy Week po and keep safe everyone. Thank Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Sir Tux. We're glad to have you on board as our director. Listening to your vision for the next few years, we know that we're in good hands. So thank you so much, sir.
I will do my best, ma'am. Thank you po.
Before moving on to the next portion of the program, I'd like to inform all of you that we will be having a photo ops after the pangwakas. So please do stay on after the pangwakas, open your video cameras so that you can be included in the photo ops. So for this portion, I just have to say that Dr. Halos envisioned the DNA analysis laboratory along with Dr. Carino, Dr. Laguno, and a powerhouse of scientists. And they worked hard and brought it into existence 25 years ago. And Dr. Halos nurtured it through its infancy and toddler years. And while Dr. Halos is still very much valued as a consultant, as a champion of the laboratory, another person, which she has also mentioned, led the DAL from toddler in the late 1990s to where it is today. A molecular microbiologist by training, she recognized the importance and relevance of using DNA technology in the fields of forensics and molecular genetics. This likely played a role in her acceptance of the position as DAL head. Through the years, she has championed making science work for the Filipino people through research, services, trainings, and advocacy. Through the years, she has been instrumental in making changes, not just for the institute or the university, but also at a national level. She worked hard and was successful I don't know the word right now, but in 2007, there was the promulgation of the science-backed rules of DNA evidence in court. And this would not have happened without her. The formation of the Innocence Project Philippines Network, the use of DNA in the fight against child trafficking, and in sexual assault investigations, among many others. She is also very active in discussions on the development of Philippine ethics guidelines for human research in the fields of forensic DNA and molecular anthropology. The list goes on and on. I'll stop here. She is University Researcher 5 and Scientist 2. Para sa pangwakas na pahayag, the head of the DNA Analysis Laboratory, Dr. Maria Corazon A. de Umbria. Dr. de Umbria?
Thanks, Manya.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So I've already put it on. Can you hear me?
Yes, po.
Okay, sige.
We can hear and see you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So maraming salamat po sa mga lahat na nagsalita. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng directors. Maraming salamat po sa former at saka current employees, research extension professional staff, admin, and faculty na nasa NSRI. Kung wala po tayong lahat, we will not have NSRI as it is today. So, para lang po, medyo hindi ako gamay magbigay ng pangwakas. So what I thought is to actually read you or recite to you a poem that I wrote in commemoration of a lot of things. I guess all of us had a lot of challenges during 2020 and it continues on until 2021. So I thought to capture the emotion, the passion, and the friendship through a poem. So hindi ako sanay, bear with me. Anyway, mahirap ang 2020 at ang 2021. Daming pagsubok, daming pagbabago, daming target na hindi naaabot, at daming bagong target para may maabot. Pero sa lahat ng ito, hindi nagbago ang ating samahan. Hindi man tayo nagkikita, tiwala tayo sa isa't isa. Na kahit mahirap, hindi tayo nag-iisa. Sa pagdiriwang na ito, tayo ay magpasalamat sa 38 taong nagdaan. Sapagkat lalo nating nalaman kung ano ang tunay na may kahulugan. Hindi palakpak, hindi kayamanan, hindi kung ano-anong plano. Ang dapat mangingibabaw ay ang pagiging tao. Sa 2021, hindi man natin alam kung ano ang kalalabasan, mahalagang ipagpatuloy nating pasalamatan ang ating pamilya at mga kaibigan. Buksan natin ang ating mga puso at kalooban upang walang humpay nating paniwalaan na maaari tayong maging ilaw ng pamayanan at kaakbay sa kaunlaran. Kasama ang mga taong higit na nangangailangan, makahulugang taon at ligtas na 2021 para sa maunlad na NSRI sa kinabukasan. Maraming salamat po.
Wow. And that was a wonderful ending, a meaningful ending to our celebration of NSRI at 38, noon at ngayon, or NSRI at 58, NSRC at 58, noon at ngayon. Now, may we ask everyone to please turn on your videos so that you can be included in our photo ops. Meron pa po bang hindi naka-on? Paul, sabihan mo yung mga tao pag kukuha ka ng picture ha, para handa. Ma'am Ungson, Dr. Sarah, can you turn on your video cams? With sino pa po bang hindi naka-on ang cam? Marami pa. Si Ate Vina. Jenna, si Abby, Roxy. Opo, sana po ma-on nyo yung video cam nyo at the lower left-hand corner of the of your screen.
Manya, naka-disabled na yung kay Sarah?
Naka-disabled ba? Sino maka-on nun? Sandali lang po. Bea, pa-enable nung cam niya. Dito po ba yun? Na-disable? Si Ma'am Unson kaya? Dr. Unson? Si Ate Rose? Mimi, Nori, Shelo.
Is everyone ready na po?
Wala pa. Yung iba hindi pa naka-on ang cam nila, Paul. Paul Anthony. Jenna. Zoe. Okay, so I guess, yeah, sige. Sabihan mo lang kami, Paul, para mag-smile kami ng mag-smile. Ayan, si Dr. Sarah. Hi.
Mga ngalay na ako.
Dali lang po nag-load lang mga images niyo.
Na-miss ko mga jokes ni Kuya.
Freeze muna.
Ay, alisin ko kaya to.
Salamat sa tula ni Ma'am Cora.
Naiyak ka?
Yes.
Kapagdamdamin. Salamat, Cora. Ilagay natin sa webpage, sa FB.
Wolf, nagtitake ka na ba ng photos?
Hindi pa po, naglo-load pa yung mga images bawat tao.
Hindi mo pag mag-upload ka, kasi baka makita yung butas na ilong ko.
Ay nako, it's really good to see all of you.
Yes.
All of you.
Sir Tug, sana mapakinggan yung mga joke ni Jun Habate. Tatawa kayo.
Ma'am, mute po kayo. On niyo, ma'am, yung mic niyo.
Sabi ko na hindi nagbabago si Mang June, ganun pa rin.
Hi, Ma'am Cow.
Oo. Ma'am, kailangan katabi ko para mahirap merong dapat ipigilan.
Ma'am Cow, totoo lang. Maiksi pa yung sinabi nyo. Dapat sinabahabaan nyo pa.
Ready ka na?
Ako na po magpipicture.
Okay, Bea, go.
Okay po. Ready po, smile. First page.
Not, hindi natin alam kung anong page tayo, ha?
Oo nga.
Anong page?
Ready na po, first page po.
Anong page namin?
Dalawang page lang naman po. Wait lang po.
Nasa last page ba ako? Nangalay na ako.
Second page po. Okay na po.
Salamat.
Thank you, Bea.
Thank you, Bea.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, congrats.
Thank you, Maya.
Welcome, Sir.
Salamat. Thank you, everyone.
Salamat po. Thank you, Ma'am.
Soon. Someday soon.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Ingat. Ingat.
Ma'am.